Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Director Watch, an AwardsWatch podcast that attempts to get inside the mind of cinema's greatest auteurs, explore what drives them. Maybe we go on a few unrelated tangents along the way. I'm Ryan McQuade, the executive editor here at AwardsWatch, and joining me, as always, is the number one detective in London, my co-host, Jay Ledbetter.
Ryan, you know, it's when you talk about adaptation, it's pretty rare to see a creator who loves every adaptation of his or her work. And so it's really exciting to finally get to talk about Alan Moore, who just his universal love for all of his adaptations is lovely. I mean, I love how ecstatic he is about every movie that has been made based on his work. And we're talking about From Hell.
Yeah.
One of the early ones.
Just universally praised from Alan Moore. Just like
He loves all of them.
He literally wrote a letter to the Hughes Brothers and said, "You guys are kindred spirits to me, family forever."
It's like when Johnny
found
Cash
them, patted them on the back. Literally,
it's like when Johnny
them
Cash
on the
did
back.
"Hurt," and then Nine Inch Nails were like, "This is his song now." Like he outdid us.
Yeah,
he beat us.
So they just started getting rid of the.
That's how Alan Moore feels about League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Exactly.
Watchmen.
What did he do?
Mostly From Hell.
Did he do V for Vendetta? Was that him as well?
That was him, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Our guest is giving us the nod. Okay.
And our guest is Alan Moore.
And our guest is Alan Moore, and he is super fucking excited to be here.
He shaved.
No, our guest today on this episode of From Hell, third film in the Hughes Brothers film. Our guest today is one of our favorites. We don't like to have favorites around here, all right? Because all of our guests are great, and we love them all. But one of our favorites, truly one of my favorites, I don't know about Jay, but one of my favorites to come on this show is one of our own here at AwardsWatch. It's Mr. Josh Parham. Welcome back to Director Watch, Josh.
Well, thank you once again for having me. I am very excited to talk about this movie, which I don't imagine a lot of people are willing to say that, but I am.
I think a lot of people of our generation are really would be excited to hear this.
We're about to set listen records.
This is a lot of millennials out there that this is probably a very formative film, probably, right? In 2001, right, is when this came out. So we got a lot to talk about. Yeah, and
we got one listen.
Yeah.
Alan Moore.
There, oh my God, you got to stop with the bet. Like it's
very funny though, because yes, Alan Moore famously hates every single thing to the point where he literally has requested that his name be taken off of adaptations now.
Yep.
I mean, to be fair, we have to make sure that our listeners know that we're being sarcastic at the beginning of this. I saw a comment for our Menace to Society.
I saw this one as well.
Clip and thinking, yeah. And listen, I'm not the funniest guy in the world, folks. But it made me chuckle that you guys thought that I actually was being sincere in thinking that Menace to Society was a sequel to another movie.
Yes, there was a comment where it said the 2 is actually meant to just.
It's just numbers.
It's like supposed to be a substitute for TO. It's not actually a sequel.
And I was because like Josh, you listened to the episode. I was just shooting the shit at the beginning.
That's so funny that people just don't get the joke. Don't you just love that when you are making a very clearly obvious joke and people are like, I think you're mistaken about this. Funny, that's the greatest feeling in the world.
Is listening to the show right now. It gave me great joy, and I'm glad that you.
Yes, I loved it. I thought it was very funny. It made
me listen to the show, so hey.
I mean, yeah, we got your download, which is great. But then also, like, listen, I say a lot of stupid, dumb jokes around here that both Josh and Jay, most likely even in this episode, will roll their eyes at. And to know that one of my stupid jokes actually kind of landed in a way where it responded to a reaction like that, it's gratifying. It's gratifying. I don't get those moments. But no, I was like, if you couldn't tell by the fact when I said that this is the Menace to Society is the Dark Knight of the Menace Society trilogy, I think we kind of lost the point. But yes, so I just want to make it clear, and Josh is absolutely correct. Alan Moore, not probably listening to this show, also not a fan of this movie, also not a fan of really any of the adaptations whatsoever.
Not even the good ones.
Not even the good ones, like the Lindelof.
Which I know there are not many, but
was he not a fan of like the Lindelof Watchmen series?
Every single thing that has been adapted, he has said, I'm not watching it. I'm not a fan.
But how do you not like
the
that?
Lindelof thing has nothing to do with him. I mean, I'm sure he would consider it like a desecration.
Well, I mean, it's sort of loosely continuation
Right.
of his worlds, I guess, but like still, it's his characters,
I
you
think
know?
his philosophy is that any adaptation is messing with the story I created, and therefore it is inferior and not worth my time.
Well, that's such a fascinating thing
I
then
mean,
about
Alan Moore's pretty
adaptation.
good, to be
So,
fair.
someone say he's like the Shakespeare of our time, you know? No, but he
I mean,
makes really great
he's
stuff.
pretty
I mean,
good.
He's
Yeah,
a
I mean,
great
I'm not
storyteller.
kidding.
he's a great
Yes.
He's
storyteller.
great.
But to be
Yeah.
that precious is goddamn. Are there other? Do you guys know of other people that are that precious to stuff?
Well, maybe you've heard about Stephen King's opinion on the film The Shining.
He's
Although
actually
he's not
kind of.
afraid to praise adaptations of his as well.
I
Although the
feel like
ones that
he's
he
kind
seems to
of.
like the
Well,
most are the most faithful ones.
Yeah,
So
I feel like he's
well,
kind of
yeah.
loosened up in old age though a little bit, right?
Well, yeah, because the checks keep coming. That's why.
yeah, he's very
Yeah.
chill on Twitter too.
Man,
So
we're really in the renaissance of the King adaptations because Mike Flanagan won't make anything else other than those.
that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys watch
Yeah.
Life of Chuck?
I did. Yeah.
That was fine.
That movie stinks.
I know you hated it.
movie
That movie
stinks.
feels like it's building to something great and then just sort of fizzles.
Act one is really good. I
It
love
is.
the first chapter of that, but then it gets way too like corny as it goes on.
It's like a
and it
great
lost
Twilight
me.
Zone episode where you're
Yes.
like, ooh, what is coming up next? And it's like, oh,
That.
interesting.
Yeah.
Hiddleston's just going to kind of tap dance for a while. Interesting direction to take it after the apocalypse.
Yeah. After
Josh.
the existential crisis at the beginning of the movie that was so profound, and here's a dance sequence, and you contain multitudes being said about a dozen times to reiterate what the movie's about.
God, if people say that to me in my day-to-day life, or if I hear it in other things, I'm like, no. No. It's
Yeah, no.
ruined that phrase. I think
It's
it's
fine,
bad.
but I didn't love the
It's
movie.
weird that won the People's Audience Award at TIFF, but it also just shows Flanagan's fans and Stephen King are just like at an all-time high right now. You know,
I guess.
yeah, because that's why I like the Frankenstein movie did so well over at TIFF too. Like people just
Yeah.
love those their genre stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, you don't like that movie.
We can't talk about it. We can't allow that tangent to happen right now. I
Oh,
can't
we
do
can.
that.
I mean, we can do whatever we want. This show is.
I don't think people
know
want
if
to
you-
hear me also.
I don't know
like,
if you
talk
know
about
this. This show is
Frankenstein.
called Director Watch. We do tangents
Yeah, but
on
people
this show.
people love Frankenstein. They don't want to hear me talk about how much I don't like it.
Man, I actually don't hate it. I like
You
it.
like it.
I like it. I think it's fine. Like
Haven't
I don't
seen
think
it.
it's.
A lot of people do.
I don't think it's actually kind of gotten better for me on the rewatches.
I am eager to watch it again, but I think that movie still has some fundamental problems that, quite
There are
frankly,
some.
I think some people are willfully ignoring because they like Guillermo del
Wow.
Toro so much.
No, I think that there
Wow.
I think that there are a lot of problems that lie within the script, Josh. I think
Yes.
from a technical standpoint, it is superb in every.
Wow, sounds like a
course, it's a
Guillermo del
movie.
Toro.
Yeah. But I do
Yes,
think though
every
that
single time people talk about this movie, they lead with, "But it looks so good." Like, first of all, it looks
No,
great.
but, like-
of course, it looks great. It's a
Yeah.
Del Toro movie. It's always going to look great.
But it's a visual
Is the storytelling
medium.
good?
I've told by my co-host that this is a visual medium. So like
It is a
I'm
visual medium. I care about that
All right, Denis Villeneuve.
occasionally. Well, we covered Villeneuve, and
Yeah,
I've got my
Yeah.
problems with Villeneuve.
We got
despite
our
his-
problems too. Yeah.
Yeah, go listen to those episodes, listeners. And
Yeah. But
I don't know. It is. I was actually having this conversation with a friend yesterday over text, and I don't know. Sometimes he'll come to me and just be like, "Hey, I want you to try and validate my opinions on movies because you're like a movie guy." And I'm like, "Okay,
Do I know this guy?
Let's figure that out." No, you don't.
Okay.
He was my college roommate, and
I'm gonna find him now.
yep, definitely find him now. He said,
And found.
what did he ask? Hold on, I gotta find it.
Yeah. This is great for a podcast.
This is great podcasting. I can't find it. He said something along the lines of, "Hey, what would you prefer in a movie? A great script that is kind of generic from a filmmaking standpoint, or an incredible aesthetic with a shaky script?" And I was like, I've said it for years. If you just want a good, solid, sturdy story, read books, because that's the one thing that movies can do that books can't do is visuals, aesthetic, form. It's, prose and plot are the things
That
that
is interesting
books are
because
great
I
at.
have the complete opposite philosophy, like completely the opposite.
I
I
agree,
think
Josh.
that if you watch a movie that has a bad story, but the visuals are nice, my feeling is, okay, great. You've now seen a really pretty like screensaver, but has given you absolutely nothing to think about.
There's a tipping point,
Hmm.
right? Like,
Sure,
what
with
do you
everything
like?
there
Do you
is,
like
yeah.
Koi Anascazzi?
Well, I mean, but that's also something where it's like visual, but there's still actually like commentary that is embedded within
There
those
is, but
movies
it's not.
too.
There's no story.
No, there's no story, but there is theme. There is
Correct.
ideas to explore,
Mm.
but so you can definitely have a lot of great visuals with thin plot, but like plot is different from story, in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
it's a distinct difference between those two, and I need a good story because if I don't,
Sure.
then I'm just watching like pretty visuals, but all that stuff dissipates as soon as the movie's done, and nothing will really stay with me after that.
Yeah.
You're talking to the Malik stand,
I
so
think I'm like in the middle of both of you. Like,
Yeah.
it depends on the exercise that I'm also going into.
although Malik has, I
You
mean,
know,
if you're
like
talking about again, it's sort of story versus theme. Malik has incredibly potent themes
themes,
without necessarily having a
a story.
spine of
Yeah.
a story that is
Yeah.
on paper terribly compelling.
He's finding
Yep.
it all in the edit. Yeah.
Yeah, my issue with Malik is that he doesn't like kind of care about his characters though. Like
Oh, that's
that's my
interesting.
big hang up.
Incredible for someone to be so wrong on our podcast.
But no, to your point, Josh, like I am not like bowing at the altar of this movie. I just think that I think, yes, from
No,
an aesthetic
I
standpoint,
know.
I think it's wonderful. I think there are problems, though, that lie heavily within that script, between the development of, honestly, the finale of that film. Like, there's characters and sort of their motivations that I don't feel are fully paid off. That being said, like, I
I
think,
totally that it's also kind of a
yeah.
mess, but
Yeah. And I do think that, like, someone like Oscar Isaac, who I think is fine in the role, just doing 900 things and kind of throwing it at the wall. I do think as the time has gone on and I've rewatched it, I've gotten used to his choices, and I think his choices are fine and I've accepted them.
I
But,
think he's good. I think he's good.
and
I
I
think
think he's
Elordi's
good. I
good.
think Elordi is very good in this movie. Like,
Yeah.
this is a
So
movie where
tall.
so tall. I got to meet him, and he is genuinely a tall man. I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
I was looking up to him,
Yeah.
and also looking at him at an upward position. I think he's a very, very gifted young man, and
Yeah, he's good. I'm also a little annoyed that people are now saying like, "Oh, he's an amazing actor." It's
no,
like,
there was
where were you
Priscilla,
people two
baby.
years ago with
Yeah,
Priscilla?
he's. Can I? Want my hot take?
Mm,
I think he's a better Elvis Presley than Austin Butler.
I agree.
I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. I think they're both very good.
Yeah.
I love Elvis.
I know you love Elvis, but I
I
think,
think Austin Butler's good in the second half of Elvis. I think he
yeah,
was really exceptional there. But as a
yeah.
total package, I think Elordi was
There
better.
was a
But it's a
moment.
different interpretation.
There's a moment
Also.
when Elordi is like leaning on a car, waiting for Priscilla to come out of her house in the first like 10 minutes of that movie, and I literally jumped out of my seat and went, "Holy fuck, that looks like Elvis Presley!" And but it was Jacob Elordi, obviously, but I was like, "Wow, that's an amazing camera trick, and also just commitment to that role." I think he's a phenomenal actor. I am loathing his next film, but which is Wuthering Heights, which is Jay's most anticipated film of the year.
Can't wait.
But
Honestly, I'm
are
always
you on for
delighted
it?
by how well for me, I'm just very tickled by how much film Twitter especially just gets
It's turned
triggered
on
by
her.
her.
Yeah,
Like and
I'm
it's
not
like
like I'm just like I just think it just from, I don't
yeah, it
know.
looks dumb, but
It
I
looks
don't I
dumb, and the
mean,
optics of
fine,
the
whatever.
casting, like, it's bad casting for me. Like,
I
I don't
would
mind that she's.
love if she stopped writing her movies
I think that's the other
because she's
thing.
an incredibly
But I like Saltburn more than
talented
Promising Young
visual
Woman, so
filmmaker.
that's
Well, and
me.
I
So.
hated
And
Saltburn.
I know
I
you hate
did not
Saltburn.
like that
Yeah.
movie. Oh, Lordy was good in it though.
No,
He was
he's
the only
very.
performance I
I
liked in
mean,
that film.
yeah. I mean, he looked incredible in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks
Carey
incredible.
Mulligan and Rosamund Pike,
I
very
think I'm
good.
just kind of out on Margot Robbie right now.
Wow.
Yeah, I hate to say that. I like her as an actress, but it's like, I think, it's like some people with Emma Stone, and I'm a little bit with that with Emma Stone right now. I'm like, kind of think that I'd like to see some other people in these roles.
Well, she's in the Yorgos
Yeah,
Not anymore.
she needs to take
zone.
a break with Yorgos.
Yeah.
So I
And
think that's
And Margot's been kind of producing all of Emerald's films, so now she's like fully in going to be the lead in this. I don't know. I've heard all the fan theories about like this actually isn't a real Wuthering Heights movie and stuff, and I kind of
like
think that's
somebody
interesting.
reading Wuthering Heights. I mean, that would be an interesting adaptation.
But Josh,
they're
I know
doing like a Stranger Than Fiction,
kind of like thing, yeah, a little bit like that. But like, I will say this, and Josh, I know you're not a big fan of most of her films, but Jay, we covered Marie Antoinette, and I'm scared that Emerald Fennell is going to try and make her Marie Antoinette with this, and I'm not. And then the Charlie XCX music came in, and I was like, okay, here, yeah, I'm not ready for this. I don't.
Maybe it'll be great.
Maybe it will be.
I'm
I would
very
love to be.
ambivalent about
I would love
Fennell.
to be surprised. Like,
Yeah.
I would love to be surprised about that. I was never a Narnia kid growing up, but if anybody can make me one, it's Greta Gerwig. I'm nervous about the Spielberg film because he hasn't made an
Why?
original sci-fi movie in a long time.
Oh no,
what-
there's no reason to be
Ryan.
nervous about that.
Guys-
Come on. That's silly.
Guys-
That's silly.
I have Ready Player One and the Big Fucking Giant or whatever that movie's called in my head when it comes to movies.
Okay,
like
but did
that.
you really think either of those were going to be like amazing though?
I mean, no. I kind of hoped. You hope.
No.
I just
Spielberg
hope
is
it's
in
not
one of the
CG
most
mess.
interesting eras of his career. Like,
Yeah,
the
he really
most-
is.
He rules.
But like,
Yeah.
also, he's made two really great movies in his last ones, and I just don't want him to take a step back. I'm nervous about that. So,
No, it's
got
fine.
some-
Isn't
got
Coleman
some
Domingo in this one?
Ugh. That's not.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry.
It's just that. Just. You mean the Cowardly Lion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that
As
the
I-
only reason you're mad at him is because he's going
I
to
just feel like Coleman's another person. He's like in everything now. We got to rotate some people in and out.
Okay.
Like Josh
Right.
O'Connor's in it. Josh is in everything now.
we were saying before this episode that Brian is a perennial hater. And,
I'm not
you were-
hating on it. I
you were
just want.
you are hating.
Should we not have more than 5 people in every movie?
From
all I'm
Hell by the Hughes Brothers, adapted from
Alan
the
Moore,
comic originated by Alan Moore,
a good guy,
2001.
coming on the show next week.
An
for Book of
interesting
Eli.
year in American history.
God damn it, Jay! Don't do that. Don't. Wait, is it? Should we be talking about that point in history more than World War II?
No, we should not. This is
Josh, have you
one
heard
of
about
the
that
first
theory?
movies post 9/11, October
No.
19th.
Jay, tell Josh your theory real quick.
We don't talk about World War II enough.
Like legitimately?
Yeah.
Okay.
He
It's a
told
take.
this to 6 people while he was in Europe and had 6 different
In Europe?
conversations.
Well, I was in
one
Europe
place
with
you're-
with Americans.
with Americans. Okay.
Which somehow makes it actually worse.
Yeah, because you didn't even talk to the people there that were really affected the most by it. You
No,
know?
but I truly believe that like 80% of world events today can have their roots in World War II.
But yes, Jade, back to your original point.
Mhm.
This was one of the first releases after 9/11.
15 years ago, we talked about it enough, but it's fading,
Yeah. And it came out
even though
October
it's as relevant as ever.
October 19, 2021, released kind of around Halloween. And this, of course, this episode is released in the week of Halloween. Very excited.
Wow, spooky.
Spooky, ooky season. Jay, any big plans for Halloween?
Trick or treating with the kiddo. He's going to be Spider-Man.
Spider-Man?
We are hosting adult pregame for Halloween.
Adult pregame.
Well, I mean, everybody's allowed. Obviously, children will be there as well. But
Okay.
fun thing about parent Halloween and trick or treating is that parents drink and take their kids trick or treating.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that sounds like a recipe for disaster. You guys
You're
don't like,
just walking around the neighborhood.
yeah, but I mean,
Nobody's
many-
You're
driving.
meeting other parents who are probably also drinking at the same
yeah,
time.
but how many
so-
people are drinking? Is there like one person not drinking that can watch and make sure that like,
a DT.
yeah, you gotta have
DTT, a
Well, I
designated
assume you're not
trick-or-treater?
getting like,
A designated trick-or-treater. Yeah,
completely
yeah,
lit
yeah.
on Halloween. It's just,
It's not.
you know,
We're not passing around the hunch punch. You know.
yeah.
Oh, I don't know. You
just
guys are monster
Do
mashing.
you have a
out there.
costume, Jay? You and your wife?
Well, I'm hitting up Spirit Halloween in the next day or two.
Oh,
you can just
and
pull
we're
it
gonna
for-
figure that out.
Well, I thought you were just pulling from your wardrobe for the Christmas Adventures Club.
Honestly,
Honestly,
I
you could
did
just
say
do that.
this on the One Battle episode. I definitely have a couple articles of clothing that could qualify me for the
Got some
Christmas
Lacoste in
adventurers.
there.
Hmm.
No Lacoste, but I definitely have like some sweaters that would.
You've got golf wear, which is very much what.
Well, I play
Um,
golf.
yeah, so it's very much like what they're
Yeah.
wearing at the meeting there. You know, you
I
guys
think that is
joke.
the widest thing that you've actually said is that the enthusiasm in which you said I play golf.
I play
Yes, that
golf.
Love golf.
Came from the chest. Did you see that, Josh? It came out like
One birdie after another.
Oh my God! All right, more like one bogey after another.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's more accurate.
Josh, you're not doing it. Are you doing anything for Halloween? Are you
I
do you
haven't
get
done anything for
trick-or-treaters
Halloween.
in your building?
No, I haven't done anything for Halloween since I was like 10 years old.
Okay, but
Do people in big urban centers like Chicago, New York, do they trick or treat?
do they
I
trick or
mean, I
treat?
haven't seen any around here, but because also like even when I was younger, where our house was just not around anybody that had kids. So we
Mhm.
never even got trick-or-treaters that much when I was like just growing up either.
My wife
Wow.
and I have lived here for going on 4 or 5 years now at the house. No trick or treaters. Never.
Yeah.
We've bought in bowls, big bowls, and bags of candy. So last year she said, "You know what, honey? I don't think we're going to buy the candy anymore
Man.
because it's just going to everybody at work." So we just shut off the lights, watch scary movies, order a pizza. That's just the way to
Yeah.
do it.
I'll watch a movie, but that's about it. Like I said,
Yeah.
I don't
What do you usually
really
watch, Josh? Do you have like a rotation or is there a
Hocus
pick?
pocus.
Hocus pocus. Oh,
uh
for God's sakes, you and your hocus.
actually I always tend to like get in the mood to watch Sleepy Hollow.
Oh,
Speaking
another
of
Johnny
relevant
Depp
movie.
vehicle.
Yeah.
All right.
top tier Burton in
For
my
this
opinion.
conversation.
Yeah, I do
love
like that
Sleepy
one.
Hollow.
My wife
Second tier
loves.
person.
I'm,
Oh no, I think it's like one of
we're
his
not.
best.
We're not arguing about this, you two. I know you guys always want to start your fights,
I
but
love Burton. Or
it's a
I
good
love
movie.
Sleepy Hollow. And
It's
I
a
Sleepy
good
love
Hollow is also
Burton.
one that was very, very important to me because that was in the middle of my like the height of my Burton obsession, and my parents would not allow me to watch Sleepy Hollow, so I was even more obsessed with it because it was
Of
forbidden
course.
to me.
I got you. I got
The
you.
Forbidden Fruit. You know what the Hughes brothers almost directed?
What
Planet of the Apes.
are you talking about? The Tim Burton Planet
The
of the
Burton
Apes?
Planet of the Apes.
Well,
Yep.
Jay, I wanted to ask you real quick.
hmm
Well, actually, before I get into the background for From Hell, I wanted to ask Josh specifically about the Hughes brothers.
Yeah.
And actually get into this fucking episode and stop beating around the bush like we're afraid to talk about this movie.
If I could bring up one more thing.
No, shut up. We're going to hear Josh's opinion. Josh, your thoughts on the Hughes brothers as a duo and wanting to come on this show with us.
Yeah. So funny thing about that, I have little to no relationship with the Hughes brothers and their
Perfect.
filmography.
You're just like Jay and myself.
He just loves us.
Did you really just want to come on to talk with us about this film
It
specifically?
really was more so about this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Hughes brothers, honestly, and this is like terrible to admit, but I do think that when I was coming up and learning more about movies and I saw Menace to Society, I think I unfairly dismissed it because I looked at it as part of like the whole arena of those movies that, were set in Los Angeles about kind of gang culture and the youth. And
Coming of
a lot of
age,
those
Los Angeles
a lot of those
crime.
movies just aren't very good. And I think I unfairly prejudged it and dismissed it. And so I never got around to seeing it. And I admit that is not good on my half. And I admit that that is, a failing, but it's the truth. So I did not come to even this movie in particular because of any fascination with the Hughes brothers. It was strictly because of the subject matter. That is
Depp.
what was real. Yeah, I'm huge into Johnny Depp. Yeah,
Captain Jack
no, but
Sparrow.
yeah, no, it was the subject matter because I am very, very much interested in Jack the Ripper, and that was my entry point into this film and why I was kind of obsessed with it when I was younger.
I love that. That's okay. Everybody comes into their episodes with whatever they have, whether it's with the director or the subject matter or an actor or whatever is the reason they want to pick. So it doesn't all necessarily have to be the Hughes brothers. Usually it is the case. But Jay, last week we talked about Dead Presidents. And
We sure
this-
did.
and
A crazy movie.
A crazy movie, big swing for these guys. Didn't land really well. So you said that they though this seems like an elevation for them though. That they did showcase at least the ability to be able to
Yeah.
maybe land spectacle, do something, but this is really their graduation into working in the Hollywood sphere. This is a $35 million budget that they make here for From Hell, but this wasn't the first vehicle, correct? If I'm not mistaken, like you were saying, that they almost attached themselves to and they almost made Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes, correct?
They did. They almost made that. And this was a film that had been in production for several years, that had been passed along to a handful of studios before landing at 20th Century Fox.
Mm-hmm.
And the Hughes brothers, eh, again, the Hughes brothers are not the most written about filmmakers in the world. It's not like I have this incredibly encyclopedic knowledge
He's
of
done a
their
lot of investigating journalism here in
careers.
the last couple of weeks.
I wish we could probably get him on the show.
He probably
One of them.
could. One of them, because it doesn't seem like they're gonna get on the show together.
Well, I think
No,
they're
probably
split
not.
now.
Yeah, they're split. Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, big time. Big time.
do
Yeah.
their
we're
own
gonna talk about it
projects
next
now.
week. That's been publicized.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jake, continue. I'm sorry.
Are you an Allen guy or an Albert guy?
Oh God, I was waiting for you to ask this for 3 goddamn weeks. I've been waiting for you to ask this question.
Well, that's for next week. You got to do it for next week.
Yeah, I think we got to do
That's
that
the
next
tease.
week. That's the tease for next week. I will answer that question no matter how ridiculous it sounds on paper. I will answer that next week. And I'm going to make you answer that question too, Jay, since I knew he was going to throw that. Josh, you just know when he's going to ask a question like that. And he did. And I kind of respect him, but then you don't. But anyway, they decided to make this as their next project.
And speaking of ridiculous,
Yeah.
they wanted Daniel Day-Lewis to be the lead in this film.
What did Daniel Day-Lewis say about that, Jay?
They didn't even get a response.
No, they did not.
I imagine he was like, I'm making shoes. I'm probably gearing up for Gangs of New York right now.
All right, this was the first retirement.
Yeah, this is the first
for him,
retirement.
yes.
He's making the shoes. He's in New York. Actually, Leo tells the funny story about Daniel Day-Lewis. It's like him and Scorsese are developing the idea of Gangs of New York finally, because Scorsese's been wanting to make it for like 20 years. And they're like, the only body that can play this character is Daniel. And he sent Leo out to go and recruit Daniel Day-Lewis. And it was go to New York, went to his apartment, had never met Daniel Day-Lewis, Leonardo DiCaprio, a young man, and had the most awkward afternoon with Daniel Day-Lewis. And Daniel Day-Lewis warned him, he's like, you don't understand. Like, this is going to take a lot out of me. And also working with Marty, it has to be perfect. But Leo's like, yeah, but it's a Martin Scorsese movie. Who doesn't want to say no to that? And then the motherfucker showed up on set and was the most terrifying man on the planet. So, but that's what brought him back into movies was technically Leo, a little bit of also Martin Scorsese as well too. And now his
Probably
son,
had something to do with it.
yeah, and probably the paycheck as well too. That's never a bad idea either. But yeah, he said no to this, right? And then there were some other people, Jay, that also were.
Yeah, there was some Brad Pitt in there. There was some Jude Law, and then there was Jonathan Depp.
Jonathan Depp.
This is pre Jack Sparrow. So where is he at his career right now?
Johnny Depp.
Is this
Yeah.
the year of Blow?
Oh man, remember Blow? Okay,
I'm on his Wikipedia page. I'm currently looking at his discography.
yeah, you can't do that.
not quite
not to be
as
confused.
important.
No, not as celebrated. Okay, so 2001.
This is the year of Blow.
This is the year
Yeah.
of Blow. So let's do it. Let's take a look into Johnny Depp before we talk about this movie, because
God, he was working.
He was working. So obviously, first film, Nightmare on Elm Street.
We don't have to go all the way back.
The 80s are pretty good for him. 90 is when he really breaks out with Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
He does
Dad and Crybaby, like both of those.
Dad and
Yeah.
Crybaby in the same year in 90. Now he's off. Then you have Gilbert Grape in 93, Ed Wood in 94,
Ed Wood, famous flop, Tim Burton's best movie.
top tier Burton's second or first best movie for me, depending on which day you're talking to me. Josh, you big Ed Wood guy?
Oh, I mean, of course, Ed Wood is like his masterpiece.
Okay. Then he does Dead Man, Donnie Brasco 97, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas 98. Yeah, he's starting to crank it up.
Now he's still kind of like the weird
Yeah, he's a weird
celebrity.
guy.
He's
But
the
then
weird dreamboat.
99, The Ninth Gate, working with Jay's guy, Roman Polanski. Then he's working, and then he does The Astronaut's Wife. Then he does Sleepy Hollow. Then he's in Chocolat, where he's playing
Good movie.
Good movie. Also, maybe the sexiest he's ever been in his life, because good Lord, in that movie, he's actually really good looking. Then he does Blow and From Hell. And then he takes 2 years, and then he becomes who he will be known for the rest of his life, which is
the blessing and curse that is
the absolute curse.
Yes.
It's because that franchise is so indebted to him. I
think he was hotter in Chocolat than Minamata.
Oh, the what was it? The Oscars fan favorite finalist.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Which one was that one? Was that like the journalist
Minamata,
one?
wasn't it?
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Oh my
like in
God.
China or something.
I was like he was a journalist or something. I
was actually going to give it to Jean de Barry. Remember when that opened can?
Barry.
Were you there at that one, Josh? You weren't there at that can.
No,
it was the
I
year
wasn't
before
at
you
that
went,
can.
right?
Yeah.
What was the last Johnny Depp movie you saw?
Oh, like actually saw?
Like have watched?
Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald.
I think that's probably mine too.
That's the answer.
I guess so.
If you haven't seen that, then you either probably saw Murder on the Orient Express, or did you guys watch the 5th Pirates film, Dead Man Tell No Tales?
I mean, I did, but I remember
Salazar.
nothing from it.
Yeah, I would just.
Yes, yeah, I think that Fantastic Beasts.
Captain
Yeah, I think that is the last Johnny Depp movie I've seen. Wow, that's crazy.
That was 7 years ago.
What did he do, Jay? That's so bad.
Him, like personally?
Yeah.
Don't get me started. I think it's
There's a lot of well documented evidence there about.
I know, but I want him. I want him to tell me.
No, I think it was all. I think I don't know who set him up, but somebody set him up. Man.
Oh my God, Jay! No, don't do that to yourself. You can't say that.
God, remember Black Mass? That was.
Oh my God! Now he's pivoting away from his comments. Can't take it out. Won't take it out.
Yoga Hosers. That movie was
holy
horrific.
Shit. Yoga Hosers. Wow.
But to be fair, I think in that whole mess, everybody just looked bad in it. Like it was all a mess.
Johnny Depp
all of that.
disaster.
Everybody just there's not a winner there, I think, and everybody loses. Everybody. I think he especially.
Yeah,
especially. I mean, but
I do
nobody
think that the
wins
guy
there.
Who's like an admitted alcoholic who doesn't want to do anything to better himself.
Like a $20,000 a month line.
Oh, for sure. But then when you hear about what is she like shit in a bed?
Well, I mean,
yeah,
we don't need to get into that.
I'm just saying.
Though.
I'll tell you what, Lily Rose doing well though.
She's the best one. She's the one working in that household.
Yeah,
she's now in the Eggers sphere.
She's very much so, and
she is to Eggers as Emma Stone is to Yorgos.
Well, I would say,
you know what? I'd rather be in the Eggers sphere.
Well, yes, because Eggers is a better director, and she's better actress. Right now,
of course, The Idol.
Yeah,
we all remember.
Well, I mean, Jay, that was written by your guy, The Weeknd.
Did he write that?
Didn't he like co-write that with Sam Levinson? Wasn't that like a whole thing? Like they developed it together.
I thought you were going to say my guy Sam Levinson.
Well, they're both
true.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, like you're
honestly
The
Weeknd makes good. The Weeknd makes good music.
Yeah, would you hang out with him?
What would we be doing?
God only knows at this point.
He's probably up to some Johnny Depp activities.
Oh my God, no! We're not going to get sued off of this from the Weeknd's people.
I said allegedly.
Allegedly.
Actually, I'm not even alleging. I'm just saying
it's just it's a comedic bit. It's nothing more. It's nothing less. See, this is what
anyway.
happens.
Johnny Depp, the star from Hell. Yes.
So Star from Hell. He's about to hit peak stardom. He's about to become People Magazine Sexiest Man of the Year.
He's already a pretty big.
He's already pretty big
now.
Yeah, he already is.
He had the belt for 3 to 4 years.
Oh yeah, he had the
Yeah.
belt.
Yeah.
Because Finding Neverland doesn't get made by just anybody. It gets made by movie stars. And then
Post Pirates, he was, I think, the biggest movie star in the world.
Yeah.
correct. I think he took the mantle from Russell Crowe that year with who he had like what Master and Commander, and I think they just kind of handed it off ship to ship, you know,
Two
because
ships
Crowe was
passing in the night.
because Crowe was that guy from like 98 to like
That's
2000.
that's been my contention.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but then Russell Crowe became like a really good character actor.
yeah, he's actually good in Nuremberg. I saw him this year.
I'm sure he is. Like fat Russell Crowe is the best.
I assume he
Russell
plays
Crowe.
a skinny, fit guy in that movie.
He plays. God damn it! He plays Goring, the fucking one of the Nazi high command.
Who now has a character
interesting.
poster. I don't know if you just saw that.
Yeah, he's just him
I
leaning
did see that. Yeah, he's looking
like
svelte.
Russell Crowe as Goering, and it's like,
Like
I
a-
don't think this movie needs character posters.
like a Sunday matinee. You know, it
Like the
is.
Avengers out here.
Jay, you
I
want to
saw
guess how?
somebody. I saw somebody say he's morphing into John Goodman, which I think is pretty accurate.
Hey,
Yeah, but I will
Good thing
say
to morph into.
yeah.
one of
We
the
love John
more
Goodman.
hilarious watches that I've had in recent memory is the Pope's Exorcist. So that
Oh
was
yeah, his little Vespa. Yeah.
Oh my
You know
God,
what?
vroom,
You know which
vroom,
movie I'm crazy about?
Oh yeah, what is it? The one with the traffic shit.
The,
What is
the
it?
road rage?
Oh, the
movie.
road rage.
Road
movie.
Rage. What is it? What
What
is
is
that
it
movie
called? I
called?
can't remember.
God damn it! What is that movie called?
I don't know what was that.
I wanted
like,
to say. I
straight
wanted to say
red
Havoc,
box
but
movie
that's
called.
not it.
It's like Rage. Is it just called Rage?
It's not called Unhinged.
Unhinged. That's
Hell
correct.
yeah, the movie's fun.
And I was just like, I'm not watching that Fox News propaganda movie. That's what it looked like. Let's talk about From Hell. Josh, you said that this subject matter of Jack the Ripper fascinates you, and you were fascinated probably at a young childhood, and
Yeah.
it's one of the great unsolved cases of all time, and it's not the first time it's been looked at in cinema over the years. Obviously, you know, there's been tons of interpretations of this. And even there's like I don't know, Josh, have you seen Murder by Decree, the Christopher Plummer Sherlock Holmes film where it's him kind of going after Jack the Ripper? Have you ever seen that film?
I've seen clips of it.
Yeah.
I have seen Time After Time,
Yes.
which is a movie where H.G. Wells is chasing Jack the Ripper and transports himself back to like 1979 in the future. At that point,
One of the most fascinating, crazy films ever made.
yeah.
But anyway,
it's insane. Yeah.
this is not that. This is taken from Alan Moore's, graphic novel and loosely based off of that. The Hughes Brothers are working within the studio system. Josh, did they make a good movie?
They made a very weird movie. They
There
and
we
I-
go.
Praise.
High praise.
Well, and it's especially a weird movie when you are trying to fit it within the context of Jack the Ripper, I find. Because I think as a Jack the Ripper movie, it's pretty ludicrous and far-fetched. And if you are trying to take it on those grounds, I don't think it's very successful.
I know what you're
And-
talking about.
and I say that as somebody who, like, yes, has seen more traditional adaptations or commentaries about this particular subject. Like before I had seen this movie, I remember watching a two-part miniseries that aired at one point that had Michael Caine as Abeline, and so I was more familiar with kind of traditional interpretations, and this one is not that. And I think on that front, it's not terribly successful. But I think if I view it more as kind of just like of a fantasy and not realistic at all, I actually think as a movie, it has some effective moments in it. I think it does a decent job to create that sense of sort of eerie atmosphere with its location. I do find that the investigative work, again, is like very silly with this main character having visions of the future. It's like it's completely ridiculous. But if you take it in terms of, as I said, sort of like a fantasy, I think that there are some effective moments there. And I think that some of the performances are good too. And I like the craft of the movie. So it's one of those things where at face value, I don't think it's very successful. But if I kind of throw logic out the window and just look at this as like a kind of a silly exercise, I have a decent time with it. I have fun with it, but I understand why people wouldn't like it. I completely am empathetic to the idea that this is kind of a mess of a movie. But because I do like just the general overall subject matter itself, that's a good enough entry point for me to kind of go with it. And if I look at it within the correct context, I still have a decent time with it.
Jay, we are in the third film here in the Hughes Brothers series. We
Yeah.
loved their first one. We were a little mixed, a little more than mixed. A
You liked it
curious,
more than I do or did.
I think it
Dead
was
Presidents.
a curious mixed response
Yeah.
to that film. This is probably their most straightforward film yet, easily,
Oh, definitely.
and most commercial
Hmm.
and conventional film to date. What'd you think of it, buddy?
Jack the Ripper. I find this movie kind of whack. And if you ask me to watch it again, I might be a skipper. I don't like this film.
Oh
I think
boy.
it's
Hmm.
incredibly languid. I find it incredibly plotty without being particularly tense in any way. There's a lot of plot in this. This basically has the Christmas Adventurers Club in it. It's
Yeah, I was thinking
essentially
about that. Yeah.
Yep, I was thinking
an
about that.
Illuminati film. Um, but that plot never coalesces into something that I was gripped by entirely. It has this very odd kind of juxtaposition of aesthetic where I'll tell you very first shot of the movie, I'm like, awesome. Bram Stoker's Dracula. They're doing it again. Let's go. Just bright red, cherry sky, extremely stylized. That mostly fades away until they have these weird, violent interstitials that play like something out of a Rob Zombie movie or something. Um, with these, flies over the decaying bodies, and there will be doctors completely disgusted and fainting at the sight of the destruction done by Jack the Ripper. But it starts to feel like these mismatched sort of. It's just like one scene and then one scene and then one scene and then one scene that never really coalesces into a plot narrative piece of storytelling that I thought ever really coalesced as a whole. It feels like pieces of a puzzle that don't necessarily fit together entirely. I I have not read the graphic novel. My understanding is that it's certainly a very stylized, dark portrayal of the grand mystery of Jack the Ripper. But here it just I wish I liked it more, and there were parts of it where I was like, "Whoa, there's a real verve to this at certain points." But in the end, for me, I thought it was just my eyes glazed over a few times over the course of the film. I'll tell you what, I think Heather Graham kind of holds her own, which is a little commendable. She's not amazing, but I think she is good enough.
Hmm.
Johnny Depp is good enough. Ian Holm is good enough. And that's about the extent of the praise I have for it.
I like Robbie Coltrane.
Robbie
I think he's
Coltrane's
great.
always
Robbie
great.
Coltrane is good
Okay.
enough.
So I don't think she'll ever listen to this episode. But if she
Okay.
does, I have to be very careful. Because
Uh-oh.
in the other room is maybe this movie's like number one fan,
Say
which
it
is
like
my
Borat.
wife.
Say it like Borat.
Mm, my wife.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. Who who really does love this movie. And between this and Sleepy Hollow, she watched those two movies a lot. This is a
Yeah.
movie within our generation. If you were a moody person out there,
The
and
simple plan crowd was eating
yeah,
this up.
yeah, the My Chemical Romance crowd was eating this shit up, and I can understand why. I basically, all the people nowadays, Josh and Jay, that of our generation that are obsessed with murder podcasts. Well, this was their favorite movie growing up,
Oh, sure. It has
and
some Zodiac in it,
it has some Zodiac in it
Proto
for sure.
Zodiac.
And I bring up Murder by Decree earlier to you, Josh, because that movie, when I was watching this movie, we had recently watched the film. I got the Kino Lorber Blu-ray for it, and I hadn't seen it. And it was one my dad always talked to me about, like the idea of the world's greatest detective taking on the greatest mystery of all time, which is who killed Jack the Ripper. And it's Christopher Plummer playing Sherlock Holmes. Like, so it was like, no fucking way I'm not watching that movie. Which is a movie, honestly, Josh, it's kind of weirdly in the same ballpark as this, is that it's very plotty and very connected to the establishment, right? And trying to say that this the murderer, this madman, was somehow connected to British government, Parliament, royal family, something like that.
Very popular theory.
That's a very popular theory. It's been debunked a lot, but then there's anytime you debunk something,
debunked.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the point.
Because
when you debunk something like that, then you get a response like that from Josh. So I'm just saying it's a popular theory. I don't have either way on it. I think it's honestly,
I think it's fun conjecture. It is.
It's that country's JFK kind of thing. Like, who killed JFK?
Yeah.
Like, it's a little bit like. I mean, it could. The simple answer is it's just a crazy fucker that they never found or whatnot.
Well, yeah. Well,
like Zodiac or whatnot.
Just very quickly, my favorite thing about this whole theory that the royal family is involved, and why I just find it to be so ridiculous, is that if you were in the royal family and you wanted to eliminate this element that had like dirt on you, and you therefore needed to get rid of them, why would you kill them in the most flamboyant way that attracts global attention? Like, they are sex workers in 1800s England. I think that there are much more like subtler ways that you can get rid of them that would not arouse any suspicion.
I think you just lock them up, put them in a dungeon, and just
maybe they're just arrogant.
There is a little bit of that, but it's also just the idea of like it's a very popular theory.
Yeah,
and
that's ridiculous.
And it's quite ridiculous. That's why it is ridiculous, because it's like, but then also we see how the royal family even treats their own, and you kind of go, shit, well, if they're going to treat their own in real life kind of like this, and you're like, fuck, what are they going to do? There's all the conspiracy theories about,
when are we getting Meghan Markle on the pod?
Well, my thing is that, we're always the conspiracy theories about that the royal family was the one that actually was the one that killed Diana. And there's always conspiracy theories that happen, in and around.
Ryan, what's your
stuff.
favorite conspiracy theory?
What's my favorite conspiracy theory? I'm usually tending to the one that doesn't believe in a lot of conspiracy theories. Because it's not that I'm gullible. It's just like, I mean, for our generation, I guess the ultimate conspiracy theory is that 9/11 was an inside job, right? That's like
I guess favorite is a weird thing to say, because that would imply that you believe it.
Yeah, I guess so. But
I
don't.
There's conspiracy theories that I don't believe, but I think are fun to like.
I don't necessarily believe the 9/11 one, but I do also know that we don't ever see. I always question the Pentagon.
Can I tell you my favorite conspiracy
That's the
theory?
one, because we always lose the tapes of that. No, I'm still answering my question, sir.
No, I have lost interest of what.
But I think
this one for just you to answer anyway.
I think JFK is the most fascinating one. I think that one's always just the one.
Yeah.
And then you get a great movie out of it. So there you go.
Which is insane and ridiculous, but
that movie's insane and ridiculous.
Doesn't matter.
And it doesn't matter because it fucking rules.
Level-headed guy.
Yeah. Talk about a series that would be maybe.
I would love to do that.
I would love to do it, but then also our brains would probably be like mush by the end of that. We'd be like mashed potato
our
brains.
podcast would be like Rogan by the end of that series.
Yeah. Be a little Alex Jones. Times 99, you say, you gotta buy these supplements here at the end of this episode anyway. The gay frogs are going crazy. Anyway, Jay, what's your favorite conspiracy theory?
My favorite conspiracy theory is that one day Cal Ripken Jr., the baseball player.
That's right.
This is the best conspiracy theory. So there is a grand conspiracy theory that Cal Ripken Jr., who holds the record for most consecutive baseball games played.
Yeah.
There was one day where he caught his wife having an affair with Kevin Costner. And he was going to miss the game.
A dirty dog,
he was so distraught and confronting both of them. And what the team did so that his streak would remain was that they cut the power to the entire stadium so that the game would get canceled. And so that his streak would continue. And that's my favorite conspiracy theory.
That is a wonderful conspiracy theory.
It rocks.
Jay. Josh, do you have one outside of this?
Okay.
Probably.
This is like kind of tricky because it does. Okay. So let me just say, I do not believe that Trump faked his assassination attempt. I want to say that.
Here we go.
Oh boy.
I do not believe that. I do think that somebody was there, actually tried to kill him, because people forget that somebody else did die at that event.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that was faked. However,
here we go.
I do kind of think that the fact that the Secret Service didn't do like anything to stop that guy kind of makes me feel like there might have been some people who saw him laying up there and just had a feeling of, you know what? If we just don't do anything for the next 2 minutes, our problem might get taken care of and we'll get a lashing out of it, but we'll be through this.
It's that Brad Pitt line.
Okay, so you're saying
Inglourious Bastards. I've been chewed out before.
There's two angles here. One is that they were trying to let it happen, and the other is that it was all staged.
Yeah, I don't think it was staged.
Never going to.
No, that he's not saying. There's no staging involved. That this guy carried out his own thing, and they saw it because they all are on those rooftops and everything. They're all like, yeah, they were just kind of like, yeah, fuck it, why not?
Sleepy today.
You know, that's what I feel like. I don't think that it was a staged event.
Well, I mean,
think
the way
it was a real shooter, but I do kind of feel like the Secret Service didn't know that guy was there before he shot and just said, let's just look away for 2 minutes and whatever happens, happens.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Josh, I don't think you're wrong. I think Trump's had a terrible history of shitting all over the military and police, and I wouldn't put it past him to just be like, you know what?
There's some. I'll tell you what. There's some conspiracy going on with whatever he's doing to the White House right now.
Okay,
something's going on.
I've got to say that has probably been the most. Like I've been away from home from the film festivals and everything.
Yeah,
and I didn't really see a lot of this because there's going to be tons of interviews up on the website soon, and I was seeing films and everything. And when I saw the photos of what he was doing in the White House, I went, "This is maybe the most disgusting thing he's actually done," because it's one thing to do.
Not
because
sure about that, but it's certainly.
I mean, it's one of them.
It's a powerful like visual image.
It's a visual image because it's like
a great metaphor.
The metaphor becomes real. At that point.
It is exactly that. It's that we literally have been talking about him tearing down institutions, and he is literally tearing down an institution. He is tearing down the most powerful place, the place that stands for power and for history and respect and honor. Is being torn down for a ballroom nobody fucking asked for.
I don't think it's a ballroom, man.
I don't even think it's a ballroom at this point. It's probably going to be a trophy room or some crap that he wants to do.
And somebody theorized that what it's going to be is like a giant data center.
I wouldn't be surprised with that either. He's probably letting Musk and what's his face, Zuckerberg, which we'll all see how that ballroom looks in Aaron Sorkin's The Social Network 2.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
That might be
That's going to be great. What's great about it is that he's directing it.
You know, when I said earlier in this episode that I was kind of like skeptical on the Spielberg film and Greta's film and Emerald Fennell's film, I would watch all those on a loop for 24 hours, 3 days straight before I ever and just
Ryan, you're
never
going to watch the Sorkin movie.
I don't want to.
But you are.
I don't.
Yeah, we all are going to
see everything.
I don't want. I don't see everything.
You see
I do
everything.
not see everything. No, I do not see everything.
You will see the Aaron Sorkin Social Network.
You absolutely will.
No, I know for a fact I'm going to, because my money is that I think that's going to be a Telluride, and I'm going to scream on top of the mountain how fucking awful that movie's probably going to be.
Probably.
He's recreating January 6th. I don't want to fucking see that.
That's what we want to see.
God, damn it, it's going to be so awful.
What was the guy with the antlers? What do they call him?
I don't know.
Something shaman?
I don't know. You fucking have
QAnon shaman.
Didn't you have didn't you have brunch with him last week?
Yeah, he's in my 5.
Yeah. Callback.
Wait, and a callback from literally 2001 from Hell.
He made my 5. Have y'all seen The Lodger? The Hitchcock silent
The
film?
Hitchcock movie?
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Great film.
Great film.
Yeah.
So
Jack the Ripper.
Hitchcock, good director.
going back
I think he's pretty good.
to the film, gentlemen. Jesus.
I'm glad that you like directed it at us as if we're the ones that fucking
You're
derailed
like
it.
going with him on the logic. Josh, don't start. Anyone on here that enables him.
We all have been talking about the Christopher Plummer. At least I was talking about a Hitchcock movie.
I was talking about a movie where he literally hunts down fucking Jack the Ripper. Stop it.
So is The Lodger.
Oh, well, that's true.
Yeah, The Lodger's about Jack the Ripper.
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, but then when we went down.
What about if I was like,
conspiracy
hey,
angle.
you guys seen Good Dog?
Well, you're just bringing it up now. Good Dog. Which what the fuck is that?
That's the new horror movie with about.
You mean Good
from
Boy?
the perspective
Yeah,
of the
Good
dog.
Boy.
Whatever. Good Boy.
A movie I still haven't seen.
Have you seen Good Boys?
I have not.
The Jacob Tremblay movie?
I have seen that one. Yeah. That's actually not a bad movie.
What's Tremblay up to these days?
I don't know. He's probably serving somebody at Starbucks. Anyway, back to
He's
From
Flounder.
Hell. Scuttlebutt, baby.
Show him some respect.
All right, justice for Flounder. So I say this as that the number one From Hell fan is literally within 100 feet from me, probably. And I got to tell you, when I first saw this when we were young, this is probably like a really good movie because you're like, oh, it's an adult, it's like rated R. It's about prostitute, about sex workers getting killed by Jack the Ripper, and Johnny Depp's gonna take him down.
But what if it wasn't scary or sexy?
And then you watch it, and I felt the same way as I did with Murder by Decree, but less so because that has like a giant monologue at the end, a Sherlock Holmes kind of moment, right, Josh? For Plummer to like chew the scenery. James Mason's playing Watson. It's like really, really just too great.
I just said James Mason was playing Jack the Ripper.
No, he's playing Watson, and he's great.
He'd be a good Jack the Ripper, though.
He would
James
be
Mason,
really.
great
I'm
villain.
going to kill you. But yes, I think that movie skirts by with the same template that this movie does, but this one doesn't skirt by because the movie is very boring and it's so long, repetitive, doesn't really go anywhere, doesn't give enough to depth to really do. I think, in my opinion, it's 2 hours and it felt like a long time.
Well, you say it feels long, yeah.
Yeah, it feels long. And
I think honestly, one of the reasons why this movie has difficulty, I think, with its pacing is because the original, because I haven't read From Hell either, but I've read summaries of it.
I read most of it.
And that is not like a detective story. It is all from William Gould's perspective. So from the very beginning, you know who Jack the Ripper is, and it's more so about his process of deciding to do this and then going down the depths of insanity as he keeps these crimes up. And Adeline is like a supporting character that just comes in and out every so often. And I think that is the reason why there's this weird push and pull between the film kind of wanting to be a more edgier, or at least a weirder kind of crime story, but then it also has to feel this obligation to be a more traditional detective story. And the detective stuff just is not that interesting because it's so boilerplate and it has no like real kind of innovation to it. And I think that's the ultimate problem that I have with this narrative.
No, I totally agree with you, Josh, because he's an interesting sort of like character in that he is a detective that he has to like get supremely high in order to be able on opium and it's endangering himself. But the movie I don't think pushes that visually or the character nearly enough to the point of madness, and doesn't really use that against him, right? And especially like if you're these interconnected higher ups that know who Jack the Ripper is and know about the fact that what he's doing and are okay with it, and you see this guy and you're literally putting him on a case to stop him, by the way, which is kind of then breaks the point of all of this in the first place of like wanting to find a killer when you are part of it. Fucking drove me nuts about that.
Well, they wanted to find a scapegoat.
Yeah, they wanted to find a scapegoat, but they also know that this guy, if they do just a smidge of research, that he has like this special fucking gift to like solve crimes by take the drugs away from him. Maybe
Making him
like
a literal clairvoyant, like yeah, that doesn't make
yeah,
any sense.
it
And
it it
in the
it
original,
crumbles the story
It's
yeah,
the
at
and
that
myth
in the
point.
beats the
original
gift.
story, he's not clairvoyant. He
No, he's
meets
not.
another psychic, but he does not have that ability in the original
But
story.
it feels like there's a lot of movies in this time period that also try to start dabbling into that as well, like the and on television shows as well too. The idea
Yeah.
of being a medium or having an ability to see beyond and do shit like that. And this movie has it doesn't need to have that. Honestly, if he's just a regularly just good detective, then yeah, he probably and then stumbles upon this information, makes it a hell of a lot more easier. The other thing that I was thinking about was the other film that again another Sherlock Holmes film. I was thinking about the Guy Ritchie film that the first one that
He's
he
a
did,
boxer
where yeah, but like that film is
who
also
can
about
see the future, isn't
a
it?
a conspiracy within the the British highest establishment, and then about bringing someone back from the dead and all this different stuff there too, and an underground society. And that movie's just much more entertaining, even though those are
That
ridiculous.
first movie's fun.
Yeah, this movie's fun. Yes, so their
Because it
plots
commits to the ridiculousness is
exactly.
the
That
thing,
movie's
where this one
ridiculous.
doesn't.
And this one doesn't know it wants to be so self-serious the entire time
It's
that
like
it
kind of
Not
can't.
the entire
austere.
time. That's the problem,
I feel
though.
like most of it wants to be self-serious,
I think
and
the
then it gets to
Freemason
be.
stuff is very silly, though.
I think no, but that's the silly stuff, and it's like I want actually more of that.
Yeah, I agree.
Then I
I
need
do.
this self-serious drug addict guy chasing down, and then to have the whole like he's gonna have like a sweetheart of gold
Well, he
for
also, I mean,
Heather
he has the
Graham. And it's
traumatic
like, who gives a
backstory
shit?
with his wife dying in childbirth,
Which is so
and
like
all
on
that
the
stuff.
nose,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Well, it's touched on like twice.
yeah, it's
It's like, oh, he's sad.
Yeah, that is the more conventional element of this story that I admit I'm not a big fan of. But when it does kind of go into the weirder stuff, which is everything away from the detective, I do find it to be more engaging. Like, and I think it would be more successful if it was pushed further into that realm. Because yes, I think the whole idea of the Freemasons being this secret organization that are controlling things, like it's silly. But I think the way that it is depicted in this movie, it is silly to the point of it feeling like at least those segments commit to that idea enough that I am like willing to buy into it. And if that was the conceit of this movie, that it wasn't a detective story about trying to find out who Jack the Ripper is, but more so just what this wild secret society was and how they were involved in Jack the Ripper from the beginning, I just think that's a much more interesting and fascinating story to tell. And we get glimpses of it here, but not enough to sustain like it all the way through.
no for sure.
It does sort of have we touched on Zodiac briefly earlier, and obviously
Hmm.
that film comes out 6 years after this, but it does have the shell of what makes that movie so great, which is sort of this anonymous killer. I mean, what's so great about the movie is that it never really tells you who the killer actually is, whereas this leans into that pulpy sensibility towards the end where it does reveal it and it gets all into this
I think that movie
conspiracy and things
does
of that nature.
kind of wink at who they believe the killer is, but there's no firm proof of it all the way.
Yeah.
There's still a bit of doubt, but
Sure,
great.
there's an ambiguity to that
But
movie
through
that this film is
Graysmith's
certainly lacking.
perspective, through Graysmith's
Sure.
perspective, he believes he knows who that is, and that's what the text of Zodiac is based off. Though there is that scene at the end in the airport, and it's and it kind of it continues and continues and continues.
Certainly,
But that
it blurs the lines.
but it doesn't have the Hollywood ending. It doesn't lock him up.
No,
put him
no,
in,
no,
and
no,
throw
no.
him
Well, that's
away.
also a
It's
movie
just-
about obsession and losing yourself in those details, which this
Yeah.
movie is not
It's a
about.
movie also about process, which is this movie is not about the process of finding
Certainly
any
not
of this
about that.
whatsoever. Like that movie is meticulous to a T, and this movie is kind of
But
chaotic.
what it
in the
does
way wants
have
to tell
are
its
these
story.
grisly murders committed by a faceless villain.
But you can
And
tell, like literally after the first killing, like, oh, I know who this is. Like, I mean, like
could you? I couldn't actually.
I can
See, it's
by
hard for me to
hand
judge
size
because
and
well,
how
it's
tall
hard for me to
someone
judge because I had seen so
He
many
is so
other
short.
adaptations where William Gull is the killer. So I was onto that very early just because
Yeah.
that's a common
Mm.
conclusion that these stories have.
yeah. But I think was it Ian Holm, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
I think
Not
he
the first choice.
not the first choice, but
No, it was going to be Nigel Hawthorne, I believe, but he
Not
was
even the first. He had already filmed some stuff,
yeah.
and
yeah, but he was already
he
like
was
really
ill.
sick though.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
home having a huge year. He has this, and
Yeah.
he has Lord of the Rings.
And Robbie Coltrane, also
And
big year for him because this is Harry Potter too.
this is Harry Potter, and Jay, who is he in Harry Potter?
He is, of course, Hagrid.
There you go. He's Rubius Hagrid. He's wonderful in that film. And
We have the Bond connection with Robbie Coltrane though.
yes, we do. We do have the Bond connection there as well. For The World Is Not Enough
And
and,
GoldenEye. Yeah.
GoldenEye.
Valentin Dmitrovich Zukovsky.
He's wonderful in those movies. He really
Yeah.
just yeah. He kind of is the Felix Leiter in a lot of ways because Brosnan
Yeah.
doesn't have that in really in those films.
Well, he technically does with Joe Don Baker, but I don't like Jack Wade
No.
in his films.
No, don't.
Oh, he's kind of fun.
Yeah. Jay's not a Brosnan guy.
No, I'm not a Brosnan guy.
I understand why he's polarizing, but I mean, to be honest with you, GoldenEye is like the only one of his that I truly love, but I think he's still good. He's the Bond of my childhood, so I have to support him a little.
Jay,
I'm a Dalton boy.
yeah. Jay's a big Dalton guy.
The few that
Well,
proud.
Dalton's the one that you like. You grow up and you realize, oh no, Dalton actually was like he had to choose.
Like Dalton was without Dalton, we don't get Craig.
And those movies have got stuff in them. I think those are very interesting movies.
They're very interesting movies. They're very good.
Mm-hmm.
They're very good movies.
Mm-hmm.
God, I'm so fucking nervous about that franchise going
They're
forward.
taking their damn time. Tell you what.
Yeah. And also,
Well,
Josh, that deal was rough. Did you read about? You read about the deal, right? That was the one piece of news I did read, and I was angry.
20 million.
Yeah, that they said that. Oh, we're going to sell it for $1 billion. And you're like, oh wow, cool, $1 billion. Well, I mean, it's not great news, but at least you're going to get your money. They sold it for $20 million. They sold that franchise.
Well, I think that there is a little bit more to the deal than that, but it's whatever. We're getting a new movie. Let's just move on. That's the past. Let's just hope for the future.
Denis
Is
Villeneuve.
Villeneuve doing that?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Heyman and Pascal have final cut though.
Yeah.
I know. That's what Villeneuve cashes his Dune check for.
I'm sure Amy Pascal and Heyman, who are great producers, will work with him and still trust him, but he just won't get the final say on everything. But I'm pretty sure that movie will be a 100% Denis Villeneuve film, however way he wants to make it.
Well,
Travis Kelce is James Bond.
No. Jay, who do you think should play James Bond? And
Travis Kelce.
Don't be it. No, come on. Don't be a smartass.
I'm not. Nothing is coming to mind immediately. I'll need to do some Googling.
Josh?
well, we talked about this briefly, but we did mention Tom Blythe. I think it actually would be a very fascinating choice.
Yeah. Of the white
I
guys,
think I'm warming up to him.
of the white guys, he's the guy that is sort of crawling up
Except
the
that
list.
Ryan, it's going to be a white guy. So just
It's got to be a
put that
white
in
guy.
your mind right now.
Yeah, it's. I would love Damson Idris. I would love, I would love Daniel Kaluuya. I would love, even still Dev Patel. I would love some of these choices. I
Yeah.
just don't think that they're going to do
Amazon's
it.
not doing that though.
No, they're not going to do that because they're not going to face the, oh, great, Amazon went woke by giving Bond over to, and I also think too, there's a little bit of like, there's been backlash to the whole, Doctor Who being played by a woman and played by a queer black man. And I think that,
Yeah. You're going to play it very safe.
they're going to play it safe and they're going to pick a white guy. And I mean, that's fine, whatever.
But Tom Blythe, I think, would be a good choice.
He would be a very good choice. Aaron Taylor Johnson, who clearly seems to want it, would be a pretty good choice as well. I am just saying to the world, anybody but Tom Holland is a win. Honestly, at this point,
I don't think Tom Holland is happening.
No, I don't think him. I honestly think Harris Dickinson is not going to happen either because he's doing the Beatles movies. And I know Jacob Elordi was also on the long list, and I don't think that they're going to do that. I think it'll be.
I don't think. Although to be honest, of those three,
he's the best one.
Elordi would be the best one.
Yes, I just think I haven't had an Aussie played in a while, and
well, not since Lazenby.
And
And look how well that turned out for
that did not work out. So, but Jay likes that movie.
That movie rocks.
Yeah, But
That
you,
movie would be
He's not
great
a
if
very
it weren't
good
for
Bond, but
him.
that movie rules.
yeah, he's the worst Bond, and yet he's got the best story ever in a Bond movie. Period. And yet
Yeah,
he's
Diana
dragging it
Rigg.
down.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good in
Oh,
that film.
so good. But yeah, this movie is frustrating, guys. It's frustrating from the standpoint that like it has the in it from a Hughes Brothers standpoint, from a directorial standpoint, either it's kind of bland.
Who is Anthony Boyle?
What are you talking about?
Oh, he is on that House of Guinness show that's on Netflix.
I
He
love how I
played
tried to get us back
John
to the
Wilkes
movie,
Booth.
He
and
is currently the favorite on the website that I'm looking at for Bond.
That's odd. I think he's also Irish.
He
yeah,
is Irish.
I don't know if an
Yeah.
Irish guy's gonna ever play Bond either. You'd have,
Well, Pierce Brosnan did.
well, that's true. I don't think they're. I think it's gonna be a British guy through and through,
Probably.
British boy.
I mean, I haven't
Yeah.
seen much of Anthony Boyle, but he seems decent
Come on,
from
Daniel
what I
Kaluuya.
have seen.
Come on, Denis Villeneuve. Cast Daniel Kaluuya, you coward. That would be the. Josh, if that happened, if someone like Kaluuya got it, all my fears would go away. And
Well,
honestly,
it's
it
still
could
a
If
happen.
Denis
there's one
Villeneuve
thing we know
movie.
about Daniel Kaluuya, it's that he loves working.
Yeah, that is true. But you know what? He's working with Amy Pascal on those Spider-Man movies for the Into the Spider-Verse.
For
He's the,
like
That's
3
4
days
days
of
work.
but he
VO
has a
work.
relationship with her, and he worked with Villeneuve on Sicario, so like they have a built-in relationship. But they wanted to go
Again
there.
for like what, a week?
It's better than like nothing, you know. And he's also an Academy Award-winning guy. I mean, it would make sense.
I think Bond needs to be tall too. And Kaluuya, great actor, but he's not like the
Oh,
tallest
you
person.
want the tall man supremacy back after Craig?
I think James Bond needs to be at least 6 feet tall. I do believe that.
Okay, well then that eliminates him.
He has
I
been
would
in 2 live action films in the 2020s.
really,
Judas and the Black
Yeah.
Messiah and Nope.
yeah. Which he's great in both.
Crazy.
Yeah.
He's 5'9". He doesn't come
Yeah, he's
across.
too short. I'm sorry.
That means he's 5'7".
Yeah.
Truly.
When people report their height, they're either a little bit taller or a little bit shorter than what they usually are.
Well, Tom
Well, if
Holland
it's
is
men, they're
5
usually a little
feet,
bit
3
shorter.
inches tall.
Well, Jay, can I ask you a question?
I'll allow it.
This is a Jay Ledbetter specific question, though. Josh,
Mm-hmm.
I love you, but I don't. Josh, are you familiar with the world of NBA basketball?
You can ask Jay.
I was going to say, thank you very much, sir. Jay, when they say that Victor Wembanyama is 7'5", do you believe that?
Well, every indication is that
That's-
really tall basketball players like to undersell their height.
Yes. Yes.
Supposedly, Kevin Durant is truly 7 feet tall. Victor Wembanyama is at least 7'6".
Yes. Which is insane.
He's also a freak of nature. Like
He's
that dude is incredible.
I love-
Congratulations, Ryan.
yeah, I know. I love him. He's such a nice guy.
Dude rules.
Josh, do you
He
know
should
who
be Bond.
Do you know who Victor? Honestly, a French Bond wouldn't be bad. Do you know who Victor Wembanyama is, Josh?
Nope.
If I'll send you some highlights later. You kind of be mind blown.
He's gonna love him.
Yeah, I mean, like he's a
sure.
7'6" basketball player that plays center, and he moves. I mean, there's never been anybody like him.
Tell you what,
Jay?
it seems like we're kind of avoiding talking about this movie.
Well, I tried to get it back on track. And then you brought up this random fucking guy that's on the Bond stuff. What I was saying was, and I kind of wanted to ask you guys from the aesthetic standpoint of the Hughes brothers here, because we've talked about the performances and the script doesn't make much sense. And Depp is kind of the only real interesting thing for the most part, kind of keeping this thing going, even though the movie has momentum enough to want to, at times seem like you want to, stop him from keeping this plot getting to its ultimate destination. Visually, it's uneven as well too for them, and it's completely devoid of any of their signatures from the first two films. And honestly, it feels like a studio for hire job at this point. When you were watching, I was like, when you watch Menace to Society and you watch Dead Presidents and you watch this, it is a massive shift in terms of a visual aesthetic for these guys. Jay, thoughts on that?
No, I mean it is a much more traditional movie. It feels like them pivoting into, yes, director for hire. it's hard to say that adapting an Alan Moore comic book, especially this early into the Alan Moore adaptation era, is a director for hire thing. I have not seen any interviews with them that indicated a true passion for the work, although
Yeah.
I assume there had to have been. But it does feel like them adapting to a more traditional sensibility, to your point. Menace to Society, Dead Presidents, bold, singular works from hell, a movie that could have been made by 75 other directors, is sort of how it is.
Well, it's also a movie that was in development for a
Right.
while too. So
Right.
it definitely does feel like something that probably came across their desk and it's like, hey, you are notable. Would you like to give this a shot? After we've asked, yeah, so many other people to try to do it. I don't deny that. Yes, I do think aesthetically, for the most part, this does feel like a more kind of traditional studio film. I think having said that, to say that it is devoid of style, I don't think is completely accurate either.
No,
And
that's true.
and not even just like the stylish flashes we get of like the visions that Abeline has. Like I think about there's a moment when we see the Jack the Ripper character. He's like about to get ready, and he's like listening to that music on the wax cylinder, which I actually really love. I love just the music in general with this movie, but I also like how it starts off like very kind of creaky and pretty ominous and very creepy to me. And I like those moments in it. I think that there are a lot of there's a lot of framing in this movie that I think on an individual level is pretty effective and does stay with me. The problem is that as a collective, as you had mentioned earlier, Jay, it doesn't coalesce into a very defining like whole. But I do think that there are these moments in the movie where something happens visually, and I am sort of taken aback at least to admire the swing of it, and I do find myself appreciating that. The problem is that it doesn't happen consistently enough, and I think the places that it does happen, as I have already mentioned, are usually when it's not about the detective story and we are more firmly in the subjective view of Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, agreed. It's a film that excels when it isn't focused on plot. That's when it works best. But the problem is it's a very plotty movie. There's a lot of story, a lot of conspiracy. It weaves a tangled web, but it's at its best when it is focusing on, I don't know, vibes is the wrong word, but when it's focused
But like
on the
atmosphere,
world,
yeah.
yes, atmosphere. Yeah, yeah. What do you think about Heather Graham?
She's fine.
I like her in the movie. I think your kind of description of her like holding her own is very accurate because I think especially, Heather Graham during this era probably not looked at as the most respected of actresses, even though she had been in very high profile things. You just know what people were probably thinking about her abilities in general. And I think especially giving her the role of needing her to play a character with a British accent probably knives out for her, but I think she handles the accent well. I don't think that the character itself has much to do in the
No,
story, but I think that her presence within that role is decent enough. It holds my attention even if I don't think the writing is especially like creative for her to do anything with.
it is crazy how intensely she is coded as the hot one. They make her up
Yeah.
15 times more than any of her.
Well, she's a roller girl. Yeah.
But it's just crazy how she's always lit beautifully, like old Hollywood lighting and all the makeup in the world, and
Well,
everyone else is
I
like,
mean, she's also coming off
Yeah.
of the Austin Powers sequel as well
Hmm.
too, and I mean, she is kind of the it girl at the time, and so it makes sense then that she's the
it girl-ish.
well,
I'm not
like the
sure.
romantic foil in a lot of these.
I don't
And
think anybody ever considered her this grand
no,
talent.
no, but she's like, if you want to put
I like Heather Graham.
if you want to put a decent actress that's attractive and you need it uh for like a just a romantic connection in a film, she was typecasted in a lot of those roles and she fit really nicely into those. And I mean, she's not doing anything here though that is groundbreaking work, but I think she's
It's a
good for
pretty
what she's
thin
supposed to be.
role. Yeah,
It
the love
is. It's
story
Yeah.
is not the best part
no,
of
it's
this
it's honestly
film.
No.
it's honestly fucking unnecessary. Like it doesn't need to be that. Like
It,
it's
it does feel like the studio note of, okay, but we need a woman.
okay,
Like we
okay, but
we
no,
need
but
a
like
we need a
but
no homo moment now.
no, it's also like we need he doesn't have a wife. Okay, we need them to like you cast Heather Graham in this, right?
Or
And you
even sort
cast
of like
Johnny Depp in this, right? And those are two
it's
hot people. So we need these two hot people to do something
yeah.
hot or even think about doing
Or
something hot.
or he needs more motivation than just I need to solve the case. Like I also need to
I need
be
to
in
get that
love with
girl.
somebody who is
Yeah.
in the crosshairs here, and I need to save her as well.
It's
Or even
so
in the wake of Titanic, this movie
so
needs to be
focus
for
group.
boys and
Yeah.
girls.
You need her to, need him to save her. And it feels so just kind of like built in a lab at that point, that relationship. You know what I mean? Though there's like one scene where they're sitting outside and it's actually pretty well shot and and there's a lot of great shots and little moments in this, but I think overall aesthetically, in terms of their other two films, like the Hughes Brothers, it's not as visually interesting to me as their other stuff because it's not a Hughes Brothers film, it's a studio film at this point. And that's the kind of disappointing thing is that nowadays when and we see this, certain directors they lose themselves when they some directors lose themselves, some don't when they make a film, when they make a studio film. This year has been a great example of when you've seen studio films, you've seen a lot of directors planting their flag as that I'm making this big budget and yet my visual language, my style, my aesthetic is still there. I think a lot about Sinners. I think a lot about One Battle After Another, and even F1, maybe from the same studio. So maybe that says something. But you know, I think, and I'm not saying that the system now is great because it's not. It's pretty imbalanced when you really think about it. Because then I give you those examples. Josh is probably can give me like 500 more that came out this year that are complete opposite and done with the same amount of budget. But you know, this is the thing where you see these guys that have had small success, not great success, but small success, critical success for the most part. And then they get to take a crack at this. And yet I just don't feel like I find them in this material. I see this as a depth vehicle, like a Johnny Depp vehicle. And having that visual graphic novel text helps them create that and get them the 35 million to make the film, but I don't feel their presence a lot when I was watching the film, and that was a pretty big disappointment for me on this viewing. Because if I take myself out and I just watch this film as by itself, don't think about the Hughes brothers, don't think about the two films that have come before, don't think about the history, don't think about any of that, right? Because when you watch them as a society and you see that film, you're like, fuck, I hope these guys make movies for the next 30 years. Because it's visually what they're doing with the form in there, what they have to say with that movie is so much. And then you watch this movie and you're just like, where are those guys? Because they're not here. And at least for me. And maybe you guys felt differently, but I couldn't find them here. And I think it just
Largely
becomes
not,
it becomes a vehicle mostly to it becomes handcuffed by its story and what this genre of story, I guess, or just what the conspiracy theory and Johnny Depp, and it's a lot of pretty people doing pretty silly shit in a movie that's overtly complicated in terms of,
And
cinematographer Peter
yeah,
Deming shot two films released in the year 2001,
yeah.
From Hell and Do You Know Which Other One?
Is it a big film?
Huge.
Huge. 2001. This is an Oscar film.
Mulholland Drive.
Mulholland Drive.
mhm.
Oh,
Oh, that is an Oscar movie.
that is an Oscar movie indeed.
Yeah. Yeah,
Josh.
and what's also like interesting to me is that I do come at this movie without the previous knowledge of the Hughes brothers.
Yeah.
And so I am sort of judging it apart from their filmography, which, is maybe unfair, because I
You
am
seen Book of
working with.
Eli though?
I have seen Book of Eli.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I saw Book of Eli more so because it was a Denzel movie,
Right.
not
Yeah,
even because
exactly. Same.
it
Same.
was Hughes Brothers.
And
So
that's a little bit like this. I think this is a Johnny Depp vehicle, and you see that. I see that through. I think that that's the better way to enjoy it, honestly. Even though that's I think what most audiences do when they see this film, right, Josh?
yeah, I think for the vast majority, they were probably like they don't know who the Hughes brothers are. They probably, yeah, just knew it was a Johnny Depp
They
vehicle.
couldn't answer your question, Jay. Which one do they like the most? They couldn't do it.
Which one directed the dog movie?
Not we're not giving the answers just yet.
Okay.
I told you we're doing this next week.
It's still the tease.
It's
Yeah,
still a
that
tease.
still is. Yeah. But like I do think this movie absolutely has conventions to it.
Yeah.
And I think what's frustrating is that you can tell that there are these moments when it sort of wants to break free from them and actually knows that there is a more interesting story to tell, which is basically the story that they're originally adapting from the graphic novel. But in an effort to kind of mainstream it and turn it into something that is more broadly appealing, they put more of the focus on the detective stuff. But the problem is that the detective narrative here is just pretty boilerplate. And like they try to finesse it up with his drug addiction and visions, but it just feels so cosmetic. It doesn't
Hmm.
feel like it actually is adding to the layers of this world. It just feels like a quirk of the character that they have to deal with while the more
Mm-hmm.
traditional detective story is playing out. And I think if this had been more of a faithful adaptation to the graphic novel where we don't focus in on that at all and it becomes just more of this perspective of the killer with this crazy secret society behind him, that's a far more interesting movie. And we get glimpses of it here with like most of the stuff with Ian Holm, but that is nowhere near the focal point of this movie, and I do think it suffers because of that.
Yeah. Jay, what are you looking at?
I'm just looking at the physical release, home video release of this
Oh,
film.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, you know what? I have this movie on Blu-ray,
Mm,
Wow.
you do.
which is out of print too. I have an
It
out
is
of
an
print
out of
Blu-ray of
print
From
Blu-ray.
Hell.
We have
Wow.
one at the house as well, Josh. And I mean, surprise, surprise. My wife bought the From Hell Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Made me try to track that down. Like, there's certain films that she's like, you got to find that for me from her childhood, and this is one of them. I do like the idea of him though being having these visions. We talked about him earlier, Josh, having this way of solving case. Honestly, would have liked it probably if we had seen him.
It needed to lean into one direction or the
Yeah,
other.
I
I think
agree.
there's that. I think there would have been better if also like we're introduced to these murders, right? They start happening. But Depp's character is solving another case using this method. And we see it. And we see him finish this case, solve it as the murders start. And we realize, oh, this does work, or maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it's unreliable, right? Some parts of it were true, some parts of it weren't, right? Sort of like a little minority report. Some of that's true, some of it's not real. And then it gives you a sense of like, okay, this guy's thinks that the method of what he's doing is right, is just, but we know it to be unreliable. And then he becomes an unreliable narrator and an unreliable detective in the process of uncovering this case. I feel like the movie just makes it so straightforward that he basically can like pull out this cheat code. It's like, when you watch the first John Wick and he's getting hit by cars and shot in bullets and things actually mattered. And in the second one, he gets a bulletproof suit.
Yeah.
And you're just like, how much more can you fucking give me as a movie? Even though the action's great, he's going to get shot at 900 times and it's just going to bounce off like a superhero movie. And that's what it becomes. And so, like, with this, it's like he can just pull out this cheat code whenever the fuck he wants. And they don't do it a lot, but it really does help him answer a lot of the questions that his regular detective work can't get. And it doesn't leave any ambiguity as to how good he is or how dangerous what he's doing. And I mean, yeah, it leads to sort of his demise at the end, but it's more of a, when I first watched it as a kid, I was like, oh, I'm really sad that he died. And now I'm like, no, he peacefully wanted to die because like he's just tired of all the bullshit and the lies and everything in the system. And the little girl and Heather Graham got away, so he can rest in peace. But
Well, that's
there's
the only way
no,
they could get away too, is if he basically died because he
yeah,
knew he was being watched, and he would never be able to see him again. Wow, it's like the ending to No Time to Die.
it really is. It really, it really is, Josh.
I just thought about that now. Wow.
The Bond boys.
The circuit back to Bond, like it
That
really
fully
is
come
this
out.
like
Yeah.
I can't get off this fucking island, so yeah,
Yeah.
sayonara. Josh, when that can I've never asked you this, but when they killed Bond in that movie, when he died, when Craig, when the bomb goes off and everything, were you a little mad
I was
that they gave
surprised.
that to Daniel
Yeah.
Craig, right?
Yeah, I mean, it had been heavily speculated that that was going to happen. I think that the execution is a little wonky.
Little McClunky like the rest of that fucking franchise at times.
Yeah, I still like No Time to Die a lot.
No, I like it, but like it's built off the back that it has to be the follow up to Spectre. Which I know you and I like as Bond fans, we give Spectre a pass, but still like
In some aspects, there are
yeah,
some things that
there's
are
some you
unforgivable in that
can't.
film.
Yeah, there's just some stuff. But like if it was a
I thought Bond traditionalists hate that movie.
what Spectre?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it's
most of
regular
them
people.
do.
I think it's most people hate Spectre. To be fair,
A lot of Bond fans also hate Spectre.
Yeah.
I like the first hour of Spectre. I think the first hour of Spectre is actually
Really
the
good.
closest Daniel Craig ever got to making like a traditional Bond movie.
yeah, but also too
And
like
then the other hour and a half that follows is
rough.
rocky.
Yeah, and then listen, I love Lea Seydoux, but they really attach to that fucking relationship, and I think it's
Yeah.
really rough.
Had potential. There's
It
potential.
has
there
potential,
with
but
that
then
character, but
you watch him with Anna de Armas in the middle of that movie, and you go, "Oh fuck, the movie that could have been, the
Spectre's
movie
the one
that could have
starts out
been."
in Mexico.
Yeah,
Yes.
That scene rocks.
yeah,
I like the pre-title sequence. I like the car chase. We get a Spectre meeting. Like I said, there's stuff
there's
like
good
a
shit.
Q branch scene.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Like it looks.
The first
it's
hour of Spectre, I think, is
like
a
aesthetically
very
great.
solid, entertaining movie that actually is, I'm going to say it, a better like Bond movie than the entirety of Skyfall. It's not a better movie than Skyfall, but as a Bond movie, I actually think the first hour of Spectre hits those notes better than anything that they do in Skyfall.
But Spectre's just a great fucking movie all around,
Well,
through and
Skyfall.
through. Or Skyfall, I mean Skyfall. Yeah,
Skyfall's good. Although I
Skyfall's-
think No Time to Die I prefer it over Skyfall.
I think Skyfall is
Quantum
like
of Solace. It's about water.
a little thirsty. Well, Jay's favorite Bond movie is Casino Royale.
It is.
Yeah, which is
It every time I get
perfect.
close to putting it at number one, I rewatch Goldfinger. It's like, no, Goldfinger's still number one.
yeah, Goldfinger fucking rules.
Living Daylights, though.
What's the one that Jay
like that one too.
What's the Connery one that you like the most, Jay? Is it the one where you only live twice?
Is that the one where he does Asian face?
Yeah,
Yes,
That's
Yeah.
the one for me, baby.
it's honest.
yeah.
But you did rate it.
No, that one's pretty good.
It's actually.
has-
That is my least favorite Bond movie of all time.
Is it because of that?
Diamonds Are Forever.
Josh,
Way worse than that.
No, it's not because of that. I just think that movie is pretty like lethargic in its
View to
action.
Kill is pretty rough.
No, I have a soft spot for View to Kill. And Diamonds Are Forever is actually one that I have come around on. I used to not like it, but as I've gotten older, I've just sort of appreciated just sort of how it is almost like a comedy, but
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's fun.
As I've
I
gotten
also
older,
just don't like Roger Moore. Bond
no,
movies.
but
And I
I've
do think Diamonds Are Forever is like a Roger Moore Bond film starring Sean Connery, but
Yeah.
it's kind of great.
I don't mind that.
No, I think for From Russia with Love slowly starting to gain
Oh,
traction.
that one's
from
great.
all
That's
this,
actually
I
the
think.
best. That's the best Connery, actually.
Yeah, that's. Well, I can't say that. Goldfinger's right there.
It's the one that is the most like Fleming of the
Yes, it
Connery
is. It's the
stuff.
most one, and also I
It's
think
very Cold War,
I think it's
espionage stuff.
yeah, and it also feels it kind of is like it shares like a mirror and shared relationship with Skyfall a little bit of that. These are Bond movies, but they then completely feel like two different other films at the same time, like with the Home Alone stuff, and then like the train stuff. Like the train stuff starts feeling like a goddamn Hitchcock movie more than it feels like a Bond film at times. And so, yeah, I love them both. Anyway, feels like we're talking about a lot of other things tonight other than this
Interesting.
movie.
Casino Royale, The Living Daylights, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, License to Kill, From Russia with Love. Those are my 5.
Those are your 5. Okay.
License to Kill is good too.
License to
Benicio
Kill.
del Toro is in License to Kill.
He is playing a maniac.
He's playing a
Yeah.
maniac.
He had more than a few small beers in that one.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Probably needed some actually to like mellow out a little
Josh,
bit.
is he your favorite part of One Battle?
Yeah, no question.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
He's gonna get nominated.
I think so.
I think they're gonna get the double.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Penn will win the award.
I don't know about that still.
Oh, I think so, Josh.
Everybody loves him as a person.
And he has lovely things to say also about the Oscars too.
I know.
An institution he very much respects.
But Josh, when has that ever fucking mattered?
It's gonna matter when he doesn't
Mattered a
show
lot.
up to like Critics' Choice or Golden Globes, and then they're gonna be like, "Oh right, he hates this. We want to give this." To
That's
somebody."
true. But if he does show up, then
Do you think he's gonna show up?
I think he would for Paul.
I don't think so.
I think he does. I think he respects PTA. He did Q&As already. I think they're all going to show up.
I think Eddie Murphy might have an Oscar if people liked him. I think Bill Murray might have an Oscar if people liked him.
He has 2 Oscars.
Who?
People did.
Sean
Well,
Penn.
people didn't like Sean Penn, but they
Oh,
had
no,
a
I know.
lot of
Yeah,
respect
no.
for him.
The Sean Penn thing has grown over the years.
But also too, like I can
untenable.
tell you this: I had a conversation with an actor recently, and
Sean
he saw the film. Can't name who they are.
It was Sean Penn. He was watching himself.
You know. And they were talking about the film, and they told me how much they love Benicio and everything. But then they were like, but then I said, yeah, and Sean Penn. They said, and they just kind of like stopped in their tracks, put my hand on my shoulder, and said, that man reminded everyone why he's the greatest actor of his generation with that performance. And there's going to be a lot of people that are just going to be like, this is also a reminder to a lot of people why he's great. And this is also for our younger voters. It's like, oh yeah, we haven't lived in a world where Sean Penn delivers a universal performance, because he was, Jay, to talk about a guy, he was one of those guys when we were growing up where it's like, if Sean Penn's making a movie, he's the greatest actor on the planet.
He was a little bit in that Daniel Day-Lewis zone.
Yep.
Yeah.
A smidge.
I was telling this to Sophia and Eric the other day. I was like, you guys remember, Jay, you might not remember this, but Josh, you'll definitely remember this. Remember Entertainment Weekly used to do their fall previews.
Oh yes.
And I remember when they put 10 toes deep into the sand and said all the King's Men was going to win Best Picture because Sean fucking Penn was in it, and they saw like some preview of it, and he was giving like that speech, and he's yelling and everything, and
he had the fat suit.
he had
the
it
accent.
all.
Yeah.
He had everything. And that movie sucked, but it got in the conversation because just of his performance alone. And so I don't know. I think people are gonna like. Yes, he's done a lot of questionable, but things. But he's also done and said a lot of questionable things. He's also done a lot of great things as well too.
He's an incredible actor.
He's an incredible humanitarian. Also, like he does a lot of work, and I mean, he's been working a lot with Zelensky and against Russia and stuff.
Yeah.
And
But
so,
he literally chastised the Oscars for not having Zelensky on, like very openly and publicly. So
sure.
we'll see.
I don't know if he was wrong on that either. No.
I didn't say if he was right or wrong.
But didn't
but
they
if you
do
were
it?
openly? No.
No,
That's the reason why he was
Oh,
so
it was
mad at
it was the Grammys that did it, right?
Yeah.
Some award show did it. You know.
Yeah, but he wanted the Oscars to do it. And like he literally gave Zelensky one of his Oscars too. And said,
Yeah.
note this down for bullets. Like
Exactly. I
has
think he gave
no
them both.
respect for the Academy anymore.
I know, but that. I mean,
Which
I
maybe
remember,
they'll persevere. I don't know. But
I've lived in a world where
Joaquin.
Joaquin Phoenix told basically the Oscars the same fucking thing.
Yeah, but Joaquin
and then
Phoenix
showed
played
up.
the game at the end of the day, though.
Yeah, I know
He
exactly.
didn't like to do it, but at the end of the day, he wanted an Oscar, and he did what was
the
necessary
thing.
to do it.
That's the thing.
But Sean Penn doesn't want it. He has 2 Oscars already. I do not think he cares.
I think he played the game. He showed up to a lot of Q&As for it. I think he would show up for
That's
Paul.
to open the movie. Opening the movie and then campaigning for an Oscar are 2 different things.
I think he would for Paul Thomas Anderson. I don't think he would for Joe fucking Schmo.
Well, we'll see. We got a lot of season left.
I think he'll be there.
Sean Penn doesn't like the Tree of Life, so he's an idiot.
Yeah, he did say that. That's fucking wild. But he's one of the people. He's one of the people, though, Jay, that have taken a crack, I believe, or has seen at least some of the Malik footage for the Jesus movie.
Yeah, me and Sean Penn.
Yeah, exactly. Jay,
He
what are you
puts
gonna
everybody
do?
in that
Looks
editing
What are
room.
you
pretty
gonna
good.
do if like Josh and me saw that movie before you? How mad would
I
you
don't
be?
care.
You just
Oh no, I think he would be actually upset if I saw that movie before you.
yeah. What's likely to happen? The release of Heat 2 first, or the Malik movie getting released?
I think they're gonna do one of those things where they put the Malik movie in a time capsule, only to be opened in 75 years.
Oh, you mean like that Merrily We
Next
Roll
to
Along, like
the
the?
Malkovich
Yeah,
movie, yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was gonna say next to like Merrily We Roll Along for Linklater at this point because he's not gonna be done with that for another 15 years. So anyway, any last thoughts on From Hell from you guys? It's like we danced around this baby tonight.
I think it's been a pretty focused pod. Um, I think it is interesting just looking at the craftspeople. I mentioned Peter Deming. He's a guy who can do Mulholland Drive, and he's also the guy who did Oz the Great and Powerful, one of the ugliest movies ever made. You know, the score here, which I think is mostly solid, was done by Trevor Jones, who did, you know, Last of the Mohicans, an incredible score. And
Yeah.
he also has done The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So he loves Alan Moore. You know, he's done absolute garbage. It was written by Terry Hayes, who has done stuff like Mad Max, The Road Warrior, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, and he's also done Payback. You
And
know,
Vertical
just
Limit. Yeah.
yeah, he's
Oh,
all over the
Vertical
place.
Lemon,
The
wow.
other
Yeah.
Rafael Iglesias has written, this film and not really done a ton
Road
else.
Fearless for Peter Weir.
This film was edited by the one of the gentlemen who edited Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo, as well as
Yeah.
It really does
And you know
look like
what?
it's put on by
it's just
taping everybody.
journeyman, just journeyman
Yeah.
sort of across the board. It's
Well,
not a
it's
good
like
thing
a
or a
lot of
bad thing
studio for
necessarily.
hire work. Yeah.
Yes,
Which,
exactly.
they all do. Emmanuel Lubezki shot the Cat in the Hat, Like everybody got to work at some
Cat in the
point.
Hat has an aesthetic, to be
It looks
clear.
fucking wild, that movie. Yeah.
You can say it's
It is
bad,
singular.
but it
Yes.
has a vision.
That is true.
This
And
film lacks a vision in a lot of ways from multiple angles.
sure, but I just still think it's competently put together. Like I still like all the
Yes,
crafts of this
competent.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Competent.
No, I think that what is sad about this, and it's the continued lessons you get over the years of, we talked about this with Carl Franklin. We're going to learn this by this is that this is the start of, and if not the start, it is the point where the Hughes brothers are no longer the Hughes brothers anymore. Visually, aesthetically, I haven't seen, we're going to rewatch Book of Eli next week. Hopefully maybe that turns back around. Don't remember that being the case. Like Josh, like for myself, when I saw it in the theater, it was a Denzel Washington vehicle. It was not the Hughes brothers. So I'd love to be wrong about that.
I can't wait to rewatch that movie.
It's going to be very interesting to watch that one. But I will say this is that it's a really sad thing to watch this movie because it's mostly a popcorn entertainment, Johnny Depp vehicle, get people in the theaters, see the sexy man alive or whatever, solve the case of Jack the Ripper. But if you're looking at this through the lens of the Hughes brothers, it is a very sad thing because you're watching them lose visually, aesthetically, who they are. Any commentary is gone as well too. These guys were pretty great at tackling commentary of the past and the present of the African American experience.
They were Dead Presidents. I would say is a very mixed bag as far as
But at least they're
concerned.
trying things.
I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah, that is a movie that is swinging for the fences. This is not that. This is very
This is fairly paint by numbers with a few exceptions.
Yeah, with a few exceptions.
But you know what? I will say this.
Okay,
And which is funny because I was thinking about this actually kind of like independent of this movie. That when you look at the careers of black filmmakers, there is often so much emphasis on having them tell stories that are reflective of the community. And
True.
I think it is interesting that when I first saw this movie, as I said, I did not have any attachment to the Hughes brothers, and I did not know that there were black filmmakers behind this film. And I feel like it is so rare for a black director to direct something that is not required to have any kind of social commentary about the black community.
It's
And
fair.
not to say like that should always, that never come into the realm of their storytelling, but it just seems like black directors have such an obligation to always, with every single film that they do, to tell a story that is reflective of the community in a way that really I don't feel like many other minority filmmakers have the luxury to not feel that constant obligation. So for that perspective alone, I do find this to be a kind of curious oddity just for that, because it seems so rare that a black filmmaker can make this kind of a movie.
Yes. No, I do agree with you on that standpoint. I mean, Josh, these are guys coming off of a pretty big flop, even though it was a big swing. And given these materials, and
But that was a very transgressive movie that didn't do that well, but was extremely confrontational.
honestly could have been making an even bigger film with Planet of the Apes, which is, because that movie is like what, like close to $100 million, at least probably, that Tim Burton film.
Probably, yeah.
That movie is massive. That movie also, but also, I don't know. I kind of would have loved to seen their Planet of the Apes. I would have loved to have seen it go beyond the convention. I think obviously Burton and Depp had a really good relationship. Like and we saw that with Sleepy Hollow. Tackling this material would have probably been interesting. Like a swap there would have been good, because the thing about Planet of the Apes is that it is ripe with racial conversation and commentary, and that the Burton movie does not have that at all. And that movie is one of the worst movies ever made, in my opinion, of the 21st century. It is one of the most unnecessary remakes ever. Even though it has great makeup, it does not. You cannot deny that. Like, that movie is. Josh is giving me the look of like, no, I kind of like that movie.
I kind of like it. I have
But
a very controversial opinion that Tim Burton didn't make a bad movie until Alice in Wonderland.
Jay, do you agree with that?
Not a single bad.
No, nobody
well.
agrees with it, and that's fine.
Um, I can't go with you on that one, Josh.
Nobody does. It's fine.
Planet of
It's
the
okay.
Apes has stuff in it.
It has stuff, but it doesn't.
It is a weaker
and this
effort,
movie
but-
has stuff in it, but neither one of those vehicles. I feel like we would have been able to find them more in that, maybe than finding it in this. It would have been interesting. It would have been interesting that these two black directors would have been
Charlie
able
Chocolate
to.
Factory stan as well.
Oh yeah. Oh shit.
I enjoy Charlie and the Chocolate
Oh,
Factory.
here we go.
I think it's a good movie.
But
That movie's got
I just
stuff
think it would
in
have.
it too. I think Corpse Bride is actively bad.
I think that
Oh,
it would
no,
have
I love
been.
Corpse Bride.
I think it just would have been very fascinating to see that scale, these two directors tackling that project. I think that would have been interesting. And I think here, we don't know what the motivations was behind making this thing. Maybe they liked Alan Moore's work. Maybe they found,
Or maybe they needed a check.
Or maybe they
Probably the
needed-
biggest check they ever got. Yeah.
or maybe they needed a big fucking check. And that's okay sometimes too. But I don't know. From just a artistic standpoint, I don't see that they are there.
Well, Ryan, Josh brings up a really interesting point there, and I was just thinking about the black filmmakers that we've covered before.
Yeah.
I do wonder if there is a part of these filmmakers who are like, I don't have to make black films. Like, I mean,
No, yeah, I'm not saying they don't have to, but
no,
also,
no. But I was just thinking about Carl Franklin. Carl Franklin made One False Move, a very racially charged film. Devil in a Blue Dress, sort of a
very racially
kind of an essential black film in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And then he made One True Thing, the whitest film ever made.
very much so, very much so. But then he went back to Out of Time, which is just like a movie that doesn't even like. Honestly, he's fitting in the trajectory of here, where it's like the studio system then takes these guys. It takes and I do think that says something though. It says something that maybe weren't. You can say it both ways. Maybe they don't want to make movies all about race, right? But then it also is like, but it seems like when they go to the studios and they get the checks and they're making the movies with the movie stars like Meryl Streep and Johnny Depp, that something's missing and something is completely devoid of that. And whether those movies make money or not, their identity becomes then of just guys behind a camera. And I think that's different than what now is, where you see a lot of modern filmmakers say, no, like my identity is in my films, my visual palette is in my films, what I have to say about it, and I have meaning behind what I want to do. And even if all those movies don't have a big giant moment of speaking to the culture in the time, it feels personal to them. And you watch this movie and there's no personality of the Hughes brothers like it was in the first two films. And I do think that there is a little bit of, you go to the system, you get the money, and they tell you, okay, this is how you're really going to make this movie. And it feels like they're in motion, at like they're going in slow motion at times through this.
It lacks the verve. I mean, I mentioned in Dead Presidents, it has one of, I think, my favorite match cuts I've ever seen in a movie. Menace to Society is an aesthetic achievement. You know, it does feel so singular in a lot of ways. And this feels like a middling Hollywood,
Yeah.
fairly cookie cutter with a few exceptions, Hollywood movie.
And I don't even
So
wholly deny that interpretation, but I do think probably me not having the other context of their filmography means that I am probably a little kinder to it. I think just also my own personal nostalgia of the movie
No,
and my
that's fair, Josh.
fascination with the subject matter. Like I admit all my biases up
No,
front. I'm not hiding from that.
no, I
And
don't
I'm
disagree.
willing to admit that the movie absolutely is not perfect. It is very muddled in its storytelling, and I wish that it had focused more in on its more successful elements. I think it would have been a better movie. But I do think that those successful elements are sort of enough for me to kind of go with it, and I enjoy it for like the kind of silly ride that it is, and that's about the extent of which I defend it.
Josh, can I tell you a comparison? And you might roll your eyes at me for this,
We'll see.
but this is a comparison that happened to me
great start.
a couple years ago. So when we on the old show we did the David Fincher series, and we did Alien 3, right?
Alien
And
Cubed.
Alien
Yes,
Cube,
Alien Cube.
Alien Cube. Yeah, I decided to watch Alien and Aliens before that film. Okay, now when
Good films.
I watched Alien, and then I watched Aliens, I was like, wow, I do not like Aliens, because I had watched Ridley Scott's film right before that and went, Jesus Christ, that movie's a masterpiece. Any movie that you watch after it, even if it's Aliens, is going to suck in comparison.
Was that in your I hate James Cameron era as well?
That was before I was converted to the right side of
Yes.
history. Okay. Then we did the Cameron series, and I watched Aliens just by itself. And that movie absolutely rules. So I understand where you're coming from, where it's like we're coming from it from, we're covering this series, and you're going film by film. And sometimes in directors' filmographies and series, the movie is going to get enhanced by the experience and the history and the knowledge and what you've seen before and what you know these guys to be capable of. But if you don't have any of that and you're just coming in and just watching one movie, then maybe without any of that other stuff, maybe you can like it more.
I would say more often than not, watching the movies in succession makes me think more highly of it, just
Yeah.
because I do put that connective tissue together.
I think that's fair.
But
I
this
think
is an example of the opposite.
of the opposite
Yeah,
sometimes,
and that happens
sometimes
too,
that happens. Yeah, it doesn't mean that the whole experiment wasn't a good idea. It just means
I
that
think this movie's
Well, I still enjoy it for what it is, but I completely understand that perspective too. Like there are things about it that I think don't work,
yeah,
and they just happen to work for me a little bit more. Like
yeah.
the one like last thing that I would mention in terms of something that I did really like about it, and you know, as I said, most of the detective stuff I don't think really works all that well. But when Ian Holm is having those scenes with Johnny Depp, obviously, when you've already seen the movie and you're rewatching it, you are interpreting that performance so much differently because you know that he's talking to the killer. And so every time he's having these conversations with the detective, I do find it to be like this really fascinating kind of almost like cat and mouse game that's happening with William Gull, where giving him a little bit of information and kind of playing along with him to sort of see like where how far he is in the investigation. And obviously that's like something that you get from a second viewing, but I think it enhances those scenes. It elevates them beyond the kind of traditional detective story. And I think it makes Ian Holmes' performance much more fascinating to dissect because suddenly there's a whole other layer of how much he is and is not revealing in information and kind of playing with this detective. And I do appreciate that. I once again feel like it's another element that could have been pushed further, but just on the surface, I do really like that interpretation.
Well, Ian Holm is better than this or Alien Romulus.
Well, I mean, the family have got a very nice for Alien
That was a
Romulus.
hell of a thing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
it
one of
wasn't an
the
embarrassment at all.
worst things I've seen in quite some time was that Alien Romulus CGI.
I
That
think the
did,
movie's still fine, but that moment is, yeah, god awful.
yeah. That just thank God that didn't get nominated for visual effects because good fucking lord, that would have.
No, it did.
Oh, did it? No, yeah. Then it's one of the
Yeah.
worst fucking things in a long time.
Oh, Ryan, the
Um,
Oscar expert over here. Couldn't even remember what got nominated for visual effects.
I don't know.
Just happened last year too, Ryan.
Josh,
What are you
Josh
doing?
knows this though. You phase
Yeah.
out the year
Yeah,
before
you forget
once
everything.
yeah, you forget
When the
everything.
season's over, you automatically forget everything that
I'm like,
happened.
I don't give a fuck. Like, like the only time I'm going to remember what happened last year is in 4 years when we do a retrospective about it being 5 years old,
Yeah.
on the show. And even then, I'm going to be like, I didn't remember half that crap.
Like I cannot you can ask me what were like the costume design nominees. I don't know. I remember the
I,
winner, but I can't tell you who the other nominees
yeah,
were.
I remember the winner. All right.
Yeah, might have strategically chose that one to
Yeah,
just make me
I knew
mad.
you were gonna, I knew you were gonna do it too. I knew you were gonna say something.
It's all right.
Um,
I'm very happy on the Team Wicked side of things. I
well,
feel very, very good.
I'm sure you'll have a blast with part two. It's
I am
so
looking forward to it. And you
historically
can be
the
over there, be grumpy, and be mad at
historically
people
it's a
having
great
fun.
second half of a musical. Everybody loves
Don't
that.
We all
care.
do
I'm gonna be fun.
the Wicked note. The
No, we can't do it
You
on
are
a
absolutely
podcast.
not
Not
getting that out of
I
me.
think we
No,
should do it.
I'm not going to do it. No,
you can do it.
you can do it.
No,
No, not gonna, not gonna. I think the listeners couldn't handle that shit. Jay,
yeah.
before we get out of here,
Hmm.
we're gonna test your awards knowledge based on the film we just reviewed, From Hell, in a segment we called "It's an Honor to Get Nominated." Jay, Hughes Brothers, so far no Oscar nominations, but
No,
a lot of people in this movie, a lot of big names, notable names. You mentioned
sort
in
of.
the crafts department, and
Well,
it
kind of.
is a period piece.
It is.
And you know how the Oscars love a period piece.
They do.
Jay was this
Below the
nominated.
line. Come on.
Jay was this nominated for any Academy Awards.
Well, when I was 10, when this movie came out, I
A wee lad.
I participated in some voter suppression, and I made sure that anyone who was going to vote for this film was not able to get their ballot in on time. So
you
I think
sound
I
so
successfully
Republican
prevented
right
this
now.
from getting nominated.
You're correct, Jay. This did not get nominated for anything. Also sounds like you were a big Bush.
With the gore, yeah.
Yeah, you sound like you're a big
Oh, yeah,
Bush
this was-
Cheney guy.
No recount required for this one, though.
Oh my God. Fucking hell. No, it was not nominated for anything. This is the year of 2001, or as Josh Parham would like to call it, the greatest film of all time won Best Picture, A Beautiful
Wait, what was
Mind.
this? Was this Beautiful Mind?
This is A
Yes.
Beautiful
There
Mind.
we go.
Gotta say, I remember seeing A Beautiful Mind in theaters, and when you
You
were a
seen that
kid,
new Ron Howard movie?
which one? Eden?
Yeah,
No, I have not seen Eden.
I gotta check that
You
out.
didn't see Eden?
I did not see Eden.
I'm
See,
gonna check it
he
out.
says I see everything, and I don't.
You're gonna watch
I
it.
did see Eden.
I kind of actually do want to watch Eden.
It actually
It
looks kind
is-
of interesting.
It is utter trash, but I did kind of have a fun
Good
time. And Anna de Armas is very good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She's having a ball.
Yes, this is the year of. This is the year of A Beautiful Mind winning. This is also,
Lord of
that
the
Ron Howard made
Rings.
trash.
yeah. This is. What did you say, Jay?
No, I mean that Ron Howard made that kind of movie.
Oh, okay. All right. This is the year Gosford Park, In the Bedroom, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, and Moulin Rouge. And so that's where we're at
Interesting.
with those films.
There's one category I would consider for this movie, actually, though.
Which one is that? Costumes?
Yeah, the Stooms.
The
Stooms.
Stooms. He said it. Wow, somebody said Stooms on this show. Oh my god, the costumes. Josh, it's actually a pretty good year for costumes.
Yeah, it's a pretty stacked lineup, and I don't know if I would necessarily throw it into that, but I think it's a very good contender. And one of the reasons why I do have a fascination with this is because, and I admit this is like very, very silly, but as a child, I had a very strong fascination with top hats. And I think the reason for that is because I loved villains in movies, and most villains wore top hats. So whenever I saw one, that to me said, you are a villain in a movie, and I'm probably going to really like you. And as you know, a lot of popular culture depictions of Jack the Ripper, he has a top hat. So that's one of the reasons why I am fascinated with the costumes, is because there is a villain with a top hat, and I will never be able to let go of that particular nostalgia for me.
Also,
I was a big fan of Sir Topham Hatt from Thomas the Tank Engine. He wore a top hat as well.
Yep, I do remember that.
Mhm.
Honestly, Ryan, probably one of the reasons why I loved Wild Wild West as a kid is because of Dr. Lovelace and that top hat.
and that top hat, that's a really good call. I'm still not over the fucking mention that Jay just brought up, but congratulations, Jay, for making the most frustrating joke of the day.
It's not even a
Um,
joke. I just loved Thomas the Tank Engine.
oh, you're being for real this go round. Okay, all right.
Oh, growing up, I was a big Thomas kid.
Okay, all
And they have
right.
a new Netflix Thomas show called Thomas the Tank Engine All Engines Go,
Okay, all right. Well,
which is
yeah.
pretty solid.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
Well, there
Well,
you go.
also, the costume designer for From Hell is Kim Barrett, who did a lot of work with the Wachowskis.
Yes.
I will say this. I didn't realize that fake movies could be nominated for Oscars, but apparently a made-up film called The Affair of the Necklace was nominated for Best Costume Design.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that happens quite frequently in the
yeah.
category.
Holy fucking
Interesting.
shit. Yeah, that's what happens when people that are in that guild for a long time get their friends to vote
Throw
for
From
them.
Hell in over that. Come on.
Yeah, throw from hell in
Let's
there.
do it.
I'd
Yeah,
do it. Yeah, I don't even know what that movie is. Yeah.
yeah. Makeup and hair, throw it in there. What's in the makeup and hair category?
Well,
Lord of the
there's only
Rings, Beautiful
three.
Mind, Moulin Rouge.
Oof,
I'd
Beautiful
take A
Mind.
Beautiful Mind out of there. I'd throw From Hell in there. Why not? I'm sure there's other films, but God, the makeup in A Beautiful Mind absolutely fucking
Yeah,
sucks. In comparison
so
to Moulin
garish.
Rouge and Lord of the Rings, what are we even talking about?
The Lord of the
Well, at
Rings
least it
won.
didn't win.
Yeah.
Well, the best film of the year didn't even get nominated that year for Best Picture, at least. It got nominated for director.
Mulholland.
Yeah, Mulholland Drive. Um, oh well, Josh, you're not a Mulholland Drive guy.
Well, David Lynch is one of those like very acquired tastes that I
Oh
just
yeah,
have not really warmed up to. I have immense respect for him as an artist.
yeah.
Absolutely. His movies just aren't always for me,
Talk about a
but
guy
I
pushing the
very much
form.
appreciate him. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Josh, would you have been one of those people that have given Lord of the Rings the Best Picture?
Out of that lineup, In the Bedroom is really good though.
Yeah, the veteran's really good.
I think I might go with In the Bedroom.
That Todd Field pretty good at his job. I
Yeah,
must say.
he
So
should have won Best Director for Tar. See, I'm back on your good side now.
you are, but God, don't remind me. That's probably the worst Oscar ceremony of my life.
Who won that
Um,
one?
It was the Daniels. It
it
was the
was
Everything Everywhere.
Oh, the Daniels.
the Daniels.
They're
God,
killing it
That is
right
not the
now.
worst Oscar ceremony, though. You cannot say that when the previous year was the Coda stuff and that terribly produced broadcast. You can't say that.
well, no, the worst one as a broadcast standpoint was the 2021 with the Nomadland and Chadwick and
I mean, that was
losing to
bad
Hawkins and
too,
all that
but
stuff.
the year after that, they literally moved categories off the air
That's true.
and replaced it with that stupid like you know online Twitter poll.
That's yeah.
No, that is the worst. That is by
That
far
is
the
probably
worst.
the worst. Yeah. Yeah, but they put best director in the first hour and they actor
Yeah,
last and picture. I'd say, yeah,
I
it's
agree.
they're
There were
both
bad
horrible.
things.
Like I think we're
They
splitting hairs here, buddy. I think that they were both
they
terrible
were both
years.
bad, but at
Yeah.
least all the categories were on
I'm
the
talking about just
air.
from like a winner's standpoint. I'm talking
Sure,
like a
like it was
winner's
still
standpoint.
both of them are very poorly
It was a
produced,
very
but
effective show itself, but as a winner's night, it was rough. It was rough
yeah,
for old Ryan here
it
to watch
it
all of his movies that he likes get beat by literally some of the worst wins in a long time. And it was like, what the fuck are we doing? Like Brendan Fraser winning for The Whale when
Let's
Colin
go.
Farrell's sitting right there.
yeah, that which now the rental family is out. It's like that Oscar win just
It looks so
ages
bad.
poor and poor. Yeah.
I don't even like Ballad of a Small Player, but it's a hell of a lot more interesting than Rental Family. It's not saying much. It really
No,
isn't
I
saying much.
don't think it would be.
No, it wouldn't be.
Man,
Yeah,
Everything Everywhere won 3 of the acting awards.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't even have a problem with the Ki Kwan win because I knew that one was going to come. Obviously, I would have picked Kate over Michelle, but my God, the worst of them all is Jamie Lee Curtis. Talk
That
about somebody
one's
that never
nuts.
needed to win an Oscar because it went straight to their fucking head. But that's the
No.
power of campaigning, though. It's
That
the
is a
power of
pretty
campaigning.
crummy list of nominees, though, I will say.
Justice for Carrie Condon.
No, that's who I would have win.
That's
Yeah, she's like very clearly the best in that category.
One of my
Justice for
absolute
Carrie Condon.
crushes of the world right
Justice
now.
Well,
for
of course, because she looks exactly like Rebecca Ferguson.
Well, there we go.
They should really.
The
make a
truth is
movie together.
revealed.
I mean, that literally is. I watched Train Dreams, and I spent the first like minute that she was on screen being like, "Wait a minute, is that Carrie Condon or is that Rebecca Ferguson?" No, it's Carrie Condon. Wait, is it? No, it's Carrie Condon. Like I was literally going back
Is
and
it
forth
the
in my
new
mind.
Dylan McDermott or
I have
Dermot
been called
Mulroney?
out.
Yeah, kind of thing.
I have a type.
So, yeah, but this ceremony, a rough winner, that's for sure. And everything. But
Yeah,
anyway,
it's pretty bad.
it's pretty bad. Josh, thank you so much for coming on the show and doing another session with us here today. It's always a blast to have you on and put up with not just myself, but definitely put up with Jay and all his nonsense.
True.
Yeah, it's
Josh,
always the toughest bit, but I muddle through it. Yeah.
I know. Well, you persevere.
Yeah.
You're one of the strong ones, Josh. That's for sure. Can you tell everybody where they can find you and all your work on the internet? And Josh, can you give our listeners out there a recommendation of the week, something that you've seen recently? Doesn't have to be new; it can be old. That you want to give a shout out and have them watch this week.
Well, you can find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd at JR Parham, and you can find my work over at Next Best Picture and AwardsWatch. And in terms of what I've been watching lately, at the time of recording, the Chicago International Film Festival has just wrapped up. So I have been knee deep in a lot of those movies.
Ayo.
So some of them, I don't know how accessible they will be in the future, but I at least want to mention one that it probably is under the radar for most people, but I want to mention it just so that if you do get a chance to see it at some point in the future, you should check it out. And that is the movie Young Mothers, which is a new film from the Dardenne brothers. And I kind of forgot that I really like the Dardennes. I don't know why that sort of like moved out of my mind at some point, but I actually do really like them. And I think this one is a very, very strong movie. I loved the intimate kind of character study that they were creating with these different individuals and how they're kind of handling entering motherhood from these different perspectives, but with still this kind of grace and sensitivity that I really, really appreciated. And I do find them to be incredible storytellers of very grounded human stories. And I really, really loved that film. And it kind of surprised me, and I didn't expect to like it as much. So it is a submission for international feature. Maybe it'll get nominated. I don't know, but if you get a chance to see it at some point, highly recommend Young Mothers. I thought it was actually a really, really good film.
You're gonna have to give it a look. See, I didn't get to see it at Cannes.
I'm about to say because it played at Cannes, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like every Dardenne brothers fucking movie plays
Yeah,
at
I know
Cannes.
exactly.
And then you kind of hear, oh, well, they're gonna get a prize, and you kind of just roll your eyes at it, and then And then when you, after the fact, when it's done screening and everyone's like, actually, it was good. And you're like, fuck, oh, okay. Well, now I missed this movie. And then it didn't play anywhere else, except it looks like it played the Chicago International Film Festival. Yeah, I'll have to give it a look down the road. Jay,
Yeah.
same drill, buddy.
Yeah, Letterboxd J Ledbetter, Twitter where I never post at Mr. J Ledbetter. Any writing I'm doing over at AwardsWatch. Listen to this podcast again next week and every week after that. And my recommendation of the week, I'll go release, I'll go Netflix. The documentary The Perfect Neighbor I thought was pretty, I liked it a good bit. It is a film that sort of lulls you at first after having this initial burst of whoa, something extremely dramatic and violent has occurred. It then sort of lulls you into that sensation you have watching Karen videos on repeat, where there is something sort of funny about what's going on while also having this undercurrent of hate and false sense of superiority. And then it turns into something absolutely infuriating and yeah, malevolent and extremely, extremely frustrating, where you go from, wow, this person's really annoying, to, wow, the system that has been constructed around us as a means for violence is pretty evil. And it makes you confront a lot of very difficult realities of the legal system. And I thought it was pretty potent. So go check that out. A rare Netflix gem.
All right.
Remember when Netflix would come out with like 4 amazing documentaries every year?
Yeah, they usually
That was awesome.
Yeah, I'll have another one later this year. Cover Up, which I saw at the festivals, and I thought that was a really
I've also seen Cover Up because I played at
solid doc.
Venice.
Yeah, that was a very solid documentary from them, and I'm glad that they have it. And Perfect Neighbor, I haven't caught up with just yet.
Yeah, I haven't either. It's one of like on the top of the list now that the festival's done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
told with almost entirely body cam footage. It's sort of unlike anything you've ever really seen before. There's been some things like it, but still incredibly impactful.
Can't wait to see it.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, Blue Sky at Ryan McQuade 77. You can find all my work here at awardswatch.com. Main show for podcasts is on Mondays. iTunes, Spotify, 5-star reviews. While you're over on the website, please sign up for the newsletter. It's the best place to get all the news, reviews, interviews, podcasts, all sent to you in one place. When I was at the AFI Film Festival, I saw a couple films. None of them were like truly great, were first time watches and new releases, but I was able to catch something. I was able to go to one screening that was run by the guest director at AFI, and that is none other than the director of Frankenstein, Mr. Guillermo del Toro. And he did a 4-film all day at the Egyptian Theater run on film of various films. I don't remember what the other. I know one of them was The Duelist, which is a great film, and I think one version of Casanova, and I forget what the last film was. But the middle of the day was sandwiched with this wonderful film that Jay Ledbetter and I love, and I don't know what Josh Parham thinks of it, but there's a little movie called Barry Lyndon, and they played Barry Lyndon on I think it was 35 millimeter print of it, and truly, if you ever get to see Barry Lyndon, or you really get to see any wonderful classic from the 1970s on 70 or on 35 millimeter, then you need to do yourself a favor and go and watch that film immediately in your area. It's Kubrick's. It's upper tier Kubrick. It may, on some days I say it's his best.
Number one,
today.
One of my 5 favorite movies of all time.
Today I will say it is his best. That movie is absolutely incredible. And to hear the conversation about Del Toro talking about that film afterwards and speaking about how that movie is really set is kind of, you don't think about it, but it is told from an outsider's perspective, from that everything you're seeing on screens in the past, and that this is told now as a fable in the future, and that Yet all of this stuff feels so ahead of its time in terms of visually what is on the screen, and just a marvelous achievement. And I know that you have to, with Ryan O'Neal, take it with some people take it with a grain of salt, and that's what really can't get people into it. I think every time I watch the film, it just adds layers and layers as to why that is some of the most perfect casting in a film ever. I think he is Barry Lyndon through and through. And yeah, just anytime they're playing cards in this movie, if you ever get a chance to, it's some of the most beautiful shots. It's probably the most beautiful looking film ever made. And if you get a chance, once again, to see it on the big screen, but if you get a chance where Guillermo del Toro is going to talk about it, one of the people that love cinema the most in this world, then I highly recommend you catch that. But yeah, Barry Lyndon, the new 4K.
Yeah, whenever released, our listeners have the opportunity to do that, make sure that you do that.
Well, sometimes that happens, like in LA or Los Angeles or in New York or places around the country. People show up and talk at rep screenings, buddy. We don't just have people that live in the middle of the country. We also have people that live across the country, and that includes the coasts. So if you get a chance to ever have some
Ryan's favorite listeners,
those are the elitists that I love. And but no, if you get a chance to ever just go and catch the film, truly do. Josh, do you like Barry Lyndon?
Yeah, we talked about it on the retrospective episode.
I don't know. Well, hey.
Sheesh, shots fired.
Yeah,
I was hearing
it's not a Robert Altman movie, so
I was just gonna say, like, I never know. You're like,
no,
I'm lukewarm
today. We gave Jaws the best pick that year.
Yeah,
that was
which I find to be very appropriate. Actually,
that was a fun pick. Yeah,
that's a good movie.
I think that actually is very representative of what we kind of feel of the year.
Jaws, good movie.
I saw Barry Lyndon on the big screen probably about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it when we talked about it.
Oh, yeah, it was right before that.
That's right. Yeah. See, I don't remember anything from 3 months ago because I've not been home.
Well, Ryan also
time is a fucking blur to me right now.
4 times a week. So
no, I don't.
Well, I always remember the retrospectives because I remember the terrible decisions that we make. So
we make usually good decisions, Josh.
We do. Yes. The bad ones will always be seared in.
Well, Josh is the keeper of the keys of the. I may have come up with most of the ideas, but he's the real.
Remember when we gave Bamboozled Best Picture?
Oh man,
that was pretty sick.
Maybe
that
our
was a good one.
I think that's probably the most inspired Best Picture pick we've ever had.
I think so.
And Josh, I still think about the fact that we didn't put The Matrix in Best Picture, so I think about that all the time.
Well, that wasn't. Me.
I know that wasn't you. I know there's a fucking J Leopard.
I don't think I was on that one.
You were on that one.
No, buddy. You were because that's where I came up with the Daily Wire bit.
Yeah, that's where you came up. Yeah. See, now who's forgetting shit?
That was a good year, though.
Yeah. It was a good year, though. 99, pretty good year.
You can't get rid of American Beauty.
And your guy, Spacey?
Oh, Spacey.
Anyway.
God, I just rewatched 7. He's so good in that movie.
He's very good.
Very good.
He's very good. Terrible person, good at his job. Next week, we will be back. We will be concluding our series on the Hughes Brothers. We will be talking about the Book of Eli. So for all you listeners and readers out there, it's time to open those books because it's the Book of Eli next week. You got to open the book. We got to see what's inside the book. That's literally, I think, the plot of that movie. It's been such a long time. Yeah, it's literally. I'm not wrong, right, Josh? It's literally about like what's in the book. Well, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Blind Christian Denzel.
God damn it.
Okay,
don't spoil it.
That is the spoiler.
God damn it, Jay.
I just said what the book was.
Oh wait, is that a spoiler? Oh, I guess
it's a spoiler.
All right,
it's literally the big twist of the movie.
Well, we're gonna talk about it.
That was a twist.
We're gonna talk about it next week. No, we're gonna keep it in. Fuck it. Fuck it. God damn it.
We'll talk.
You got to do a spoiler reveal.
We'll talk about the Book of Eli.
That's like literally the big twist at the end of the movie.
Next week here on Direct Watch. Thank you all so much for listening.
My bad.
And we'll see you all next time.